my mind. Everybody's sleeping. Let's not waste any time. I know it's late. Oh, I can't wait. Come on and steal away. Oh, steal away. I know that it's wrong meeting you this way. There's no other way I can be with you. If only your folks would approve. Things like this we would have to do. Oh, I won't tell no one else. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I know it's late. Oh, I can't wait. Come on and steal away. Oh, steal away. Yeah, yeah. Baby, won't you steal away? I know that it's wrong meeting you this way. There's no other way I can be with you. Oh, if only your fault would approve. Things like this you and I would have to do. Oh, I won't tell no one else. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I know it's late. I can't wait. Steal away. Let me steal your love. I know a lot of folks out there trying to criticize me, but you keep doing the same thing I'm doing. Oh, steal away. Don't you wanna steal away? I won't tell if you steal. I won't tell. Baby, won't you come? Yeah, yeah. I won't tell if baby, if you wanna steal away, won't you come? I won't tell. Baby, won't you steal away? I won't tell. I won't tell. I won't tell. Baby, won't you come on and steal it? Baby, won't you come on and steal it? Don't you wanna steal away? Don't you wanna steal away? Don't you wanna steal away? Yeah, wanna steal your love every now and then. I think you wanna steal away every now and then. I know you wanna steal away. Don't criticize me, 'cause you be doing the same thing I'm doing. Don't you wanna steal away? Don't you wanna steal away? Shh. Don't you wanna steal away? Don't you wanna steal?
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning.
Live on the line, we have the newly appointed State Senator Doris Turner. Welcome to the Maze Jackson Show. How are you, Senator Turner?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I really feel like I have arrived now that I'm on the Maze Jackson Show. It's a dream I never thought would happen. You know, in every office that I have held, I served 10 years on the Sangamon County Board, then I served 2.5 terms on the Springfield City Council. And in each one of those positions, I have never represented a district that was a majority district. But every day I've gone to work to ensure that African Americans in those districts receive equitable treatment, and that the legislation that I push was beneficial to the entire district, but beneficial to the African Americans that lived in that district, because these are people that for too long have not had a voice. When I was there and I was their voice, I wanted to make sure that everything that I did was going to move my community forward. And that's always been first and foremost in my mind, and that will continue to happen. If you look at ordinances and legislation that I have championed, drafted, and passed, you will see that thread running through there. Everything that happened with the legalization of cannabis in Springfield, I led that and came out of that with a lot of successes. And one of the things that I am most proud of that came out of that was we put the 3% municipal tax on there, but 1.5% of that money will always go to a very specific area of Springfield that is the heart of the East Side.
You mentioned cannabis, but what we've seen is that there's been no access to cannabis for black folks.
We've had to go back and do 2 fixes already. I think that everyone knew that that was going to happen. But, going forward, it's one of those things that, when you know what you know, there'll be more eyes and ears on a lot of things. So I am very committed to that.
Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson.
I got that 10K the other day, but it's already gone away. I had some bills that I had to pay. I need my money. I roll the money. Y'all know the hustle. I need my money. I roll the money. I need my money. I roll the money. I need my check, my 10K, my 10K, my 10K, my 10K. Y'all know the hustle for that bag. Went to the ATM, 2 or 3 of them. I put my card in, but no cash came out. I wanted to shout. See, if you're rich, you can get a bad bill. But if you're poor, all you're gonna hear is no, 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 no. I need my money. I roll the money. I need my money. I need my 10K, my 10K, my 10K.
You know the last time I asked you for my money,
Baby, what's going on?
and you gave me some lame excuse. I don't want to hear none of that.
But ain't no here.
Give me my money.
I ain't got nothing else for you. You better leave me alone. This is my roll of money. Y'all know the hustle, and y'all know how we hustle. You know I gotta secure that bag, and you know I gotta hustle. Y'all know, 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 y'all know the hustle. Nigga gon' hustle. 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 Get that bag.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the beautiful What's In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Howard. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of this conversation. Each and every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m., we get together right here with you guys and discuss issues that are impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, and how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of those issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome those issues, again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so very, very much, again, for choosing to be a part of this conversation. We think it is the blackest conversation in America. Feel free to add your input. As always, it is welcome. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly ask that you please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Share it on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Absolutely anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion, simply because we believe that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of the discussion, the better opportunities we have of reaching those aforementioned solutions. So please, if you will, take a quick second to share the broadcast. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? I'm blessed and highly favored. How you?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. I had took the day kind of light yesterday. I didn't really do a whole much, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of kick back and watch the game. Not no real drinking, nothing like that. Yeah, before you celebrate, let's go, is because I did way too much on Saturday. Like, went way too hard on Saturday, man. Had a great night in here on Friday night. Shout out to Chris the Critic and then Magda the Seer. They did their shows. We hung out here, got up out of here. Then Saturday, I was hosting a virtual dance-a-thon. Okay.
How'd that go?
It went. No, we had a whole lot of fun. But I ain't.
Wait. That was the dance-a-thon I was supposed to be in. I forgot all about that.
You were supposed to be
We
in
were
it?
supposed to rig it, remember?
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. We supposed to rig it so you won it. Yeah. No, it was.
Watch my feet.
It was cool. I ain't no dancer though. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't have me just dance for an hour straight. Like I like hang out in the back and like swag bounce to the music. I don't like dance. They doing TikTok dances and like
That's not dancing.
nah, it was a lot.
traffic control.
I could step. Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? But you know, since I'm emceeing this thing, I'm trying to dance, and then I heard I couldn't dance today. And I was kind of upset about it.
Well, show us.
Nah, y'all ain't ready. Maybe later. But no. So
I thought you was a judge, though.
no, I was the host.
Okay.
I was hosting. This young lady won. Youngster, somebody like put their daughter or something on the screen. This little girl danced for an hour and a half straight. Okay.
So it definitely was rigged.
G.
It was like the people who sing gospel at the Apollo, so you can't boo.
This sister, she had to be probably like, I don't know, 10 or something like that. She dancing her little heart out the whole time. She requesting songs. She requested Baby Shark remix. Okay? She requested the Baby Shark remix.
That is cheating. That's cheating. You can't do that in the competition. That's cheating.
She deserved to win. We didn't like say she won just because.
See, that's gospel at the Apollo.
Like she deserved to win. It was adults in there that I was dancing to.
She would have lost if I was a judge just cause.
Just cause.
I'm not going.
So we did that, and then afterwards we just stayed up and was drinking, and I may or may not have drank almost a fifth. Baby Shark. So we set up, and after that, so we just sat there, kept drinking, playing cards. So people was virtual. People was wherever they were, at their homes, yada yada yada. Me, Erica, the founder of Color Me Social, who's on the show, and the DJ were at my house in the basement. And so after that, we just sat there drinking, playing cards, chopping it up, smoking hookah, and I look up, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, yo, I got to be up at like 7, right? Because
It's rough, right?
yeah, because, last weekend, I was here at the studio for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Trying to help make sure everything was running smooth. And so I intended to do the same thing this Sunday. Set my alarm clock for 7 o'clock p.m. Okay?
Sounds about right.
I've done that.
Set my alarm clock for 7 o'clock p.m. And now I wake up because I hear my auntie like just tapping through the crib. She's staying there because she's healing from a stroke. She's doing well, but she's like crip walking through the crib with this cane. So I hear this coming back like past my room. I'm like, what the? I'm like, she's up early, fam. Like she. And then I open my eyes, and I didn't see the clock yet. But you know how like you can tell like this ain't 6 a.m. Like daylight. This is like noon daylight. I'm like, what time is it? I look at either the clock or I looked at my phone, and it's like, bro, it literally said.
I'm supposed to be up out of here.
Bro, it literally says like 9:53. Okay. The kickoff kickback starts at 10 o'clock. Okay. So fortunately, as soon as
Super Bowl.
as soon as I realized what time it was, I knew that Maze must have already came here to make sure everything was smooth with the early morning shows, right? What I do, I did, I don't, with the power hour. Like, so I'm like, okay, Maze ain't called me, so he must be there. And then the second thing, I was like, wait, I gotta go get up there with Gino and T. G. Like our show started in like 7 minutes, G. So
You made it though.
I did because I live right off Lakeshore Drive. Hopped on Lakeshore Drive, shoot down here. I was here like 5 minutes. It took me like 5 minutes to get dressed. I did some version of like brushing my teeth and washing my face and ran out the door. Right. And so I'm telling, you know me though. So when the show started, Terrence like, yo, how y'all doing? He like, Harold, let's start with you. How you doing this morning? Because I had told them when it was, because I woke up, I texted them. As soon as I woke up, I'm like, yo, y'all might have to start a show without me. I literally just woke up. Right. And so T like, Herb, how you doing? But you know me, I keep it a buck with everybody. I don't, you know what I'm saying? We all family in here. So I just told everybody, like, listen, y'all, I woke up 15 minutes ago. Okay? Like, I woke up 15 minutes ago. I took a whole bath, and so like, did you just say you took a whole bath on the air? Yes, I did. Like, what do y'all want from me? Like, I tell you the truth all the time. Even
that ain't nothing new for you. That's how you move through here. You burn the candle on both ends.
I'm always just going. I done been here plenty of times without even going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of how I move. But you know, on that day, so I'm telling them like, did you say you took a whole bath? Yes, I did, fam. Like, what do you want? I keep it a buck with y'all all the time. The Hicko Maze. So I don't know if he put this in the comments or he called me or something when the show was over. He talking about you need to go shower. You need to go shower with your dirty self. I'm like, first of all,
stay hating, man.
He's just a hater. I'm like, first of all, my shower is still probably fresher than yours from before I got dressed for my event last night. While you in here hating on me. Second of all, leave me alone because I'm tired and I'm a little hungover. And the only reason we had a good show though. We had fun until our broadcast ended because we let the thing wasn't charged up, so it just ended on us.
Did it?
We was in the middle of a dope conversation. We talked about wrestling for like 30 minutes.
I saw it.
It was nostalgic. We had so much fun. But anyway, man, shout out to the Bigs. It was always good hanging out in the kickback. The football season's over now, so we'll do a recap Super Bowl show, and then we'll move on to other things, basketball, baseball, whatever, what have you. March Madness will be rolling around. We'll get into those things. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was an eventful weekend. And so after my Saturday was like that, Sunday I was just like, man, I'm just gonna chill, just watch the game. I did pull up on my homeboys, just sat, watch the game. And that was that, man. So
y'all Saturday show was amazing though.
Sunday, the kickback.
Sunday show though.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Specifically in regards to us going to the Super Bowl that night.
Yeah.
Y'all had a taped interview run.
Yeah, man. G put up an interview from I want to say his name is Dwight Smith. He used to be a cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And G pulled that interview up, and it was fire. Like, he was spitting truth, state secrets, stuff that people be like, that's too much of a conspiracy. I don't believe it. He's lying. Like, no, he's not lying. he's probably not lying. And so Yeah, that was dope. That was a dope interview.
But the conversation that ensued afterwards was super dope.
Mhm.
You know, just talking about the realness of that conversation, and then you all got into LeBron and about how whether or not he stands on. And it was interesting because you saw the polarities and ideas. Because T kind of stood on, man, well, y'all could talk that Jim Brown shit, but look at Jim Brown now.
Right.
Right. And in essence, he brought it into the Trump situation. When he first said it, I thought he was talking about Jim Brown just kind of being old and broke. You know what I mean? But then he brought it back home with the Jim Brown going over to the Trump situation, wearing the MAGA hats and all that type of deal. But again, also, it's perspective for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't see Trump as the Antichrist per se.
Yeah, me neither.
And I think that, in chaos lies opportunity. So maybe Jim Brown saw some opportunity by placating to Trump's ego. I don't know the answer to it, but I just thought it was interesting to hear you all both go back and forth the way you all did.
Yeah.
And it kind of was like it was like a bird's eye view into how most of us view the world. You know what I mean? Some of us stand on our beliefs, and some of us, and I'm not to say that's not standing on your belief, but maybe your belief is ingratiated into the understanding of if I can free myself, which is capitalism. You know what I mean? And I can't say that there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because when you start looking at the game, or you look at the board, it oftentimes makes sense to just save yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I blame anybody for having that thought process, but it is a viable thought process in our community. And then you have that opposing viewpoint, the beach viewpoint. Man, I ain't sacrificing. This is what it is. Maybe until you 70 years old like Jim Brown and you broke or you got to go placate to Trump. I don't know what the answer is. You know what I mean? I just thought it was interesting to see that back and forth take place.
Yeah, no, that's when your value has to be, solely based on what you, like your morals and your principles and what you standing on. And then if you are standing in that space, then broke or not, famous or not, you should be able to sleep at night. You know what I mean? Now, how other people view you, how other people deem you valuable or for what reason or not, that's for other people to, you know what I'm saying? That's for them. But for your own self, I would think that you should be able to find peace and be able to sleep comfortably at night knowing that I ain't never did no sucker shit to fit in. Cash jar.
Or you might be able to sleep in peace on that super king size bed. You know what I mean? Just kind of depends.
Egyptian sheet.
You're right. It depends. It depends on who you are.
700 thread count. You know what I mean?
Oh, you speak.
You know what I'm saying?
It depends on who. It depends on who you are. I get that wholeheartedly. Right. So like I don't know, man. You take like the privileged position that we are in to be able to converse with somebody like Uncle Walt. In my opinion, Uncle Walt is a king. He's royalty. You know what I mean? In my opinion, he should be lifted up and held amongst the greatest to ever walk amongst us, right? Don't nobody know who Uncle Walt is. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is it that you value? What is that you value? Uncle Walt cool. He ain't a filthy rich man.
See, I got cheated in life, though. I got cheated in life because those men raised me. And in turn, they raised me to be like them. Right? So the other opportunity or the other option was never viable. It was never an option to me. You know what I mean? So my whole personality and identity was shaped via the lens of how they wanted to shape that identity. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed for it in a lot of ways, but then in a lot of ways, I realize it's a different thing. You know, I didn't realize I was poor until I was an adult. You know what I mean?
That's real.
That's just the truth, right? And then once you become an adult, and just specifically the kind of way I live life, I don't have the kind of life that's kind of circumvented to one area. You know what I mean? So I've had the opportunity to really see and meet wealth that most of us never get to experience. You know, and their perspectives are very different, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say no names because people would know it if I even alluded to, like, the relationship. But I got people in my life that are very, very close to me that are very, very wealthy. You know what I mean? And I don't mean rich. I mean wealthy. You know, and I see these people all the time. Talk to them all the time. And some of the ideas and thought processes I have, I don't know if I say they have. Let's say they have them. They share them.
Sure.
Right? They're very aware of those ideas. They believe in those ideas.
Okay.
But they never let those ideas shape
Interfere.
how they get money.
Right.
They never let those ideas interfere with how they get money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's just an interesting dynamic, you know, and it makes me see the nuance in their own personalities. From the outside looking in, for a long time, I used to be like, man, it's goofy. It's sell out this. But then I'm saying, his daughter straight. Her children going to be straight. Children after that probably going to be straight. I don't know who really
got this thing right.
Who got this figured out?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean, and that is the thing that you grapple with, and and so when I say sleep comfortably at night, that comes from like you deciding that I'm playing this game this way, right? And so I understand, even if I understand the other side of it, of playing this thing for the collective and for but who am I to tell you? Who am I to tell you not to? You know what I mean? Who, like, I don't know. I don't know, right? And so that's another reason why I'm always like, man, it's not about, trying to recruit other people into your lane, right? It's not about trying to bring other people into the movement that you with. It's just about getting with other people who are already in that lane, and then y'all just get busy. And people in other lane, do your thing, fam. Like, I love to drive. I love driving. I ain't never thinking about nobody else like what they doing in the road. I'm watching them to in a defensive way, but do your thing, run your race. I'm not racing you, fam. Like do your thing. Like I drive fast, so somebody might see me driving and they want to pull up and drive. Like I'm not really racing you, fam. Like whether you hear it or not, I'm gonna do my thing. You tweaking right now, but just get in your lane and get busy. And I think ultimately that's what people are gonna do anyway. I just think that for this particular lane, when you talk about like Black liberation, we tend to look to the left and to the right in other lanes and like, oh, what they doing? What they doing? Why not over here? Because they don't want to be over there. That's why. They don't want to be over there, and that's okay. Get busy with who is over there, and that's really all we can do with it at this point. That's and again, I've for a long time I was all like, oh, we got to get as many people on. Man, all you're gonna do is disappoint yourself, frustrate yourself, trying to get other people to be of that same ilk, right? Or to think that way. Because again, and I'm not even saying that I'm right and they wrong. It's just how I feel. This is how I want to move. And I know there are a lot of other people who want to move like that. So let me just get with them people. And people that want to move the other way, go do your thing, fam.
Yeah, but I just think in that vein though, there is no Black liberation. There's only individual liberations. Right? So Toussaint liberated. Toussaint's family's liberated. The Werners is liberated. In this regard, right? If we can stay under the radar, stay out the way of police, stay out the way of government infractions and not piss nobody else, then you can experience some level of freedom, some level of sovereignty. You know what I mean? Because you have the economic wherewithal to experience some level of sovereignty.
Right.
And I don't even know if that's sovereignty.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like I was definitely finna like push back on you with that. Like that's a lot of ifs for a sovereign person. You know what I mean? Like if I can stay out of the police way, and it's like, and so what we're trying to do is like get to a space where it's not, where we don't have to, walk on eggshells. We don't have to tiptoe around like, oh, let me not get tripped up there. Let me not get tripped up here. Let me not get tripped up there. And ultimately that's what Black liberation is about, like where it's just open for everybody, not like trying to find a little crack for a few people to slither through, but like open that joint up for everybody to where we don't have to be like, well, hopefully I don't get caught up with them. But again, until the group decides, those things are, in my mind, again, gonna always be on the table, right? Until we as a group move forward, yeah, you're gonna have problems with the police. You are gonna be preyed upon. It just is what it is because capitalism needs a bottom. Exactly. But I think it's even a little bit more nuanced than I say personal sovereignty. Okay. So the people that I do know that are operating within that wealth dynamic or that upper echelon middle class dynamic, whatever dynamic is that kind of settles your family. Sure. Right? At least from the Black perspective. The main pushback that I have is that it still is in proximity to whiteness. The goal or the elevation or the stature or the gains are still measured by, i.e., in proximity to whiteness. So you look at their children and their tone has an inflection of
Caucasians speak. Like, you know, there's no such thing as
Talking white.
talking white,
Right.
but there is a such thing as having a tone that is an alignment with white comfortability.
That comforts them. Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's real. I see that. You know, I see them placating to those kind of white ideas in their children. But again, if you look around America and you just separate the black conversation, 2-3 generations, the Asians are assimilating in the white culture. 2-3 generations, the Hispanics are assimilating in the white culture. 2-3 generations, the Indians are assimilating into white culture. So if we're going to stay on this soil, what's black liberation look like? 2-3 generations we assimilated into whiteness? And I bring this forward, like we talked to B the other day. We talked to Brother Brian the other day.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking about bringing out the magazine about black liberation, right? He called me 2 days later. Remember on that call, he talked about how he had partnered with XYZ and XYZ, and it was kind of millennial, and they had these different kind of ideas. Well, he called me the other day and said that he had to separate himself from that partnership because he wanted to come out with the magazine, and they was pushing back on all the articles because they felt like they were too black. Now, these are people operating in the space of black liberation.
Sure.
Now, they're younger, right? I.e., 2 generations. They the next generation that's coming up. You know what I mean?
How does that bode for us?
How does that bode
For the movement anyway.
Even Black Lives Matter to me is a watered-down version of whatever it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? So you can go to Black Lives Matter website and not see nothing specifically for black people in my mind. You know what I mean? Not in the traditional sense of the movement.
Sure.
Right? So what does sovereignty look like? Because assimilation seems to be the goal of everybody else on the soil.
Yeah.
So if that's not the goal.
It's the American dream, right?
If that's not the goal, the only other goal that I could think of would be in complete opposition to that. And if it's not assimilation, then it must mean conquering. And we ain't on that.
No, we not on that.
We're not on that. So from a collective standpoint, does it make more sense for me to solidify the Werner household? And I'm speaking this in generality, right? Because in a lot of ways,
hear you, bro.
In a lot of ways, the Werner household is a lot better solidified than most black families. You know what I mean? I'm living in the struggle just like the vast majority of us, but I know the real numbers. And we ain't in that group.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I see that as a blessing. I see that as a blessing because it's not a given.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Because the vast majority of us just aren't in that quadrant. You know what I mean? So it's just an interesting paradigm to think about. Because if it's not assimilation, then it has to be conquering. And how do we get to conquering in a construct where everybody is cowardly?
Howard says, can it be a combo platter?
I don't know. I don't think. How can you assimilate? And how can you revolt against that in which you love? I don't think you can.
I don't think so either. You do one or the other, right? And again, I always feel the need to say this when we're having this particular conversation. Is like, it's not saying that you need to go live in a cardboard box, right? It's not saying that you shouldn't be, getting to whatever money you need to live comfortably, right? It's just to say that how do you relate to that money, right? Like how do you relate to capital in this system, right? Is it completely controlling your everything, or are you using it as a tool for your own liberation, that of your family, that of your community? And if so, maybe that's some version of combo, but I think even it's not really though.
But you'd never get to it though. Here's the dynamic again. It's the nuance in the conversation. Beach makes it so plain when he says you cannot revolt against that in which you love.
Right.
But I've been saying for eons beyond that, we aspire to whiteness, right? Now, the nuance in aspiring to whiteness, if you ask somebody, do you want to be like a white person?
Right.
They're going to say no.
They're going to say no.
Right? But when you think that 98% of the wealth in the black community is in the hands of white people, you ask them, do they want to be wealthy? Well, wealth is a reflection of white life then. That's your only reference point. Because what do you want wealth for? To live like white people live. Because that's your reference point. So still, you break it down, it's still an aspiration to whiteness. Right? And for you to have that kind of commitment to wealth, you would also have to have that kind of commitment to whiteness. So you using your wealth to revolt against whiteness is oxymoronic. It's oxymoron. You wouldn't chase it in that way if it wasn't if that wasn't the kind of aspiration that you had.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it still leads you back into the same paradigm. It's just interesting to think about it. I just think it's interesting to think about it.
It's a tough thing, man. You get burnt out thinking about it sometimes. You get really burnt out thinking about it. And I would be an absolute liar, like, which I pride myself on not being, if I didn't say, like, yeah, sometimes I'd be like, man, to heck with this, dog. This is challenging. This is a lot of effort for minimal return on this investment. You know what I mean? Like no matter how long and hard we work side by side and with other people, it's like I'm still seeing this. I'm still seeing what I'm seeing in my community. I'm still seeing a system. I'm still seeing, this poverty. I'm still seeing violence. Like, it's like, yo, like, because I have the ability and opportunities and credentials to go get a real bag and just be like, I'm cool, I'm good. I don't got no. I'll you know what I'm saying?
But even that,
I go live on a beach forever. Like, it don't even take no money to do that.
But even that thought process, in a lot of ways, is hypocritical.
It is, bro. That's what I'm saying to you, and I'm saying I would be a liar to you if that thoughts never crossed my mind to be like, yo, I'm sick of this crap. Like,
No, I'm not saying that thought.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying the thought of thinking that world is available to you.
What world?
That I can go get when I want to go get, because I have the credentials to go get.
No. I mean, like, go get whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be cool.
But that's what I mean. Again, I'm still.
All right, so come. What you mean?
It's nuanced in this sense.
Mm-hmm.
If only 2% of the black populace, and that's even a stretch in reality,
Sure.
is in the private sector, then I don't give a damn what credentials you got.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't really available to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, in some veins, I got all the fixings.
Right.
I'm degreed. I got a specific skill set. When I want to be articulate, I have no problem with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm skilled and I'm very good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't do it if I ain't good at it.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the nature of my own existence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, I have an extensive and expansive network
Yes.
that allows opportunities for me to touch down in spaces that a lot of people can't touch down in.
Yes.
And I know sometimes the way I present hinders those abilities to touch down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I also have been in situations where I flat out turned down a lot of money just for the sheer fact that I felt like that went against my moral code.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I've done that.
And
not some of the ones you turned down though.
But even that is
one in particular. I seen you. I was like, you look. Do we really love you? Do we really love these black people like that? Like that one in particular, I was like, well, let's.
But be clear though, that one you're talking about, I got to that position in that room by being a defender of my people.
Yeah, no, I'm
and to get into that room by being a defender of my people, and then they offer me some large sum of money to sell my people down the river. My moral capacity couldn't do it.
No, I feel. You know, I always commend you on that, and I.
But that's the line.
I get it.
But therein lies the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have to assume I'm not the first person to be at that.
Oh no, most people took it, fam.
At that gate,
we know the people who took it.
I'm talking about over eons, though, over generations.
I'm sure.
Over, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So part of the hypocritical construct is that the blessing to getting to the other side?
Yes. I told y'all a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get into this part of it because it wasn't a part of the story, and I really was never gonna mention it, but to heck with it. You wanted me to come and assist in your campaign to be mayor. You put a like when I was like, I don't really think that's gonna really this ain't, you know what I'm saying? We're not on the same page yet. Took a piece of paper, check on it, slid it across the table. Looked at it. In my mind was like, yo.
So
my body was still like, nah, and I left it there. He's like, just take it with you. Nah, if I take it, I'm gonna deposit it. I'm gonna be stuck here. I'm good.
Here's a conversation
But that thing was impressive.
I got invited to a room. I got invited to a meeting at the Chase building downtown, top floor penthouse apartment, penthouse suite.
Mm-hmm.
Smell like money, feel like money. Like you go in some of them downtown offices and you feel different.
Oh, it's the oak wood.
Like flat out.
It's that dark oak stuff, and it's like, yo,
it's something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'd be that classic stuff. Not even like contemporary nice stuff. It'd be like classic handcrafted stuff.
let me put you on game. One, I was ignorant, right? I didn't know who I was talking to. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And somebody reached out to me and said, give me a call back. I reached out to him. This Mark answers the phone on some man, like I'm in the Amazon River. This is true story. He's like, I'm in the Amazon River. This is true story. I'm not even BSing at all.
All right.
Let me call you back in about an hour.
Right.
I don't even know who this is. I'm like, Amazon River.
You up a river without a paddle.
All right, fam. Okay, fam. It's an 800 number. What's you finna ask me to pay a bill? All right. But he hits me back.
Uh-huh.
Come to find out, he's the owner of this.
Of the Amazon River. No.
Probably so. Probably has shares in the Amazon River. Right? But he owns this large-scale distribution food company.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Invites me to this conversation. I go down to the conversation. Now, I've been invited to several conversations, but usually it's with a group of people, like who's who of our community kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only one in the room, and I'm thinking other people are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else was coming, right? So it's me and these three white guys in this downtown office, and one brother.
Okay.
But he was working with the white folks, right? And they were talking to me about making investments in the black community, right? And we having this conversation, and they break out this ledger. Book had to be this big, bro. Ledger, right? And they said, these are private industry, too. This isn't government entity. This is private industry, right? He said, this is the money we're currently spending in the black community. He's flipping through the pages, right? And it's a ledger with names that everybody would recognize in our city with dollar amounts attached to it, right? And I'm talking about 2 million here, 1 million here, 4 million here. I mean,
money.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm looking at them names, and these people I know. And even in the reference of being like influencers in our community, a lot of them
Ain't that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm looking at dudes that get 2 million. I'm like, man, you couldn't go past 55th Street if people would know this dude name.
Yeah, but when you own the money, like at that scale, throwing it away don't really mean nothing.
So, but look, here's the conversation. You know, they go through this ledger, and they selling me the whole time. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it ain't even real to me. It's not even real to me. So I could care less how this plays out. You know, it's not even real to me at this point.
Right.
So I'm kind of laughing in the inside, like, this is hilarious. You know.
Anytime
And,
you gotta get on a separate elevator, it's real.
And
Like when you gotta get on a different elevator than everybody else in the lobby, it's a real conversation happening up there.
yeah, so dude, when the conversation is over with, the dude asked me, he says, what would be the backlash if we gave all this money to you? Now, after the tally, I'm somewhere in my head around like 60 million. I'm just counting money. I ain't stupid. I can count.
Right, it's quick.
So every time you turn the page, I'm tallying up that money. Right? So just in my head, I'm tallying around somewhere roughly around 60 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, well, what would be the backlash if I was to get this money to you? And my response was, it wouldn't be no backlash for me.
be all good, fam.
I would have to deal with nothing. But y'all would have a problem because them people ain't going to go away if you cut them off their feeders. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was very interesting, again, because it's a private industry. And I got there by making a lot of noise on the streets, and they couldn't contain me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know I scared Rom to death.
No, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer, fam. You out there doing some stuff. I can't control you from out there. But if I bring you in here, I can control you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's only going to cost me pennies on the dollar as far as I'm concerned.
But it was $60 million.
Whatever.
Right? So immediately when I come up out of here, though, because I ain't never sat at the table with somebody who was offering me $60 million, right? So first it wasn't even real to me. It still wasn't real to me. I don't care what you said it to me in that room. Saying you was going to give me $60 million was like, okay, who you think you're talking to?
Right.
Right? So I played it all like a game. I was laughing the whole time. Like, this ain't for real.
That and the $150 will get you on the bus.
Yeah, get out of here, fam. Okay, beat it. You know what I mean? So I called one of my wealthy partners who I always run money conversations by.
Mm-hmm.
And his response to me was very interesting. And this is one of them guys where I said, like, you know, they think like I think in a lot of ways, but they, you know, in regards to them interfering with their money, ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, man, what you think of this? This is what they told me. I'm telling him the whole story. He was like, ain't no right or wrong, fam. It's a game. Just play. Just play. And I thought that was Interesting.
It's very interesting, man. It's very, very interesting. But then it goes back to what I said earlier about like, what is your comfort level when you lay down and go to sleep? And if you cool with saying, hey, it's just a game, I already know right or wrong, play however I want to play it.
Those 60
Cool.
million probably would be comfortable.
Again, that's for everybody's decision to make, right? The little anecdote story I was just telling, it wasn't 60 million. Like it was like that's a couple more zeros than I was looking at. But nonetheless, it was like like the next time I was like, damn, I want to order this and order that. And I was like, should I order that? Would that be fiscally responsible? I was like, we wouldn't even have to have a fiscally responsible conversation if your black ass would have just took like but you know, you wanted me to sell a narrative that I didn't believe in. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it at all. I'm South Shore to my heart. I've sat down with the dude, and I didn't know this dude from nothing. Like I had never seen him in a damn. I didn't know him at all. I was at a fundraiser for something else, for the Southside YMCA. I was at a fundraiser for that. It's a black-owned brewery. And the name of it escaping me, but it's downtown on Michigan Avenue. And so that's where the fundraiser for the Southside YMCA was at. So I'm in there, and we just, hanging around, shooting the proverbial sugar honey iced tea. So I'm, smaller white dude just comes up to me, taps me on my shoulder. And turn around, he's like, can I talk to you for a minute? Sure, that's all we're doing here anyway, is networking and talking to folks. Sure, what's going on? He introduced himself anyway. He's over the Tiger Woods golf course project, right? And it's literally right across the street from where I grew up, right? And so he was like, he introduced himself. I introduced myself. He said, "Yeah, I know." And he was like, I just kind of want to talk to you. Have you been hearing about the Tiger Woods golf course is coming to Jackson Park? I'm like, of course I know that, right? And he's like, well, we're getting a lot of pushback in the community, trying to make inroads in the community. A lot of people don't think it's a good idea. And he was like, well, what do you think about it? He's like, a lot of people think we come to do more harm than good. And I just said, are y'all? Like, are y'all coming to do more harm than good? Because I know y'all gonna put that golf course across the street, and then the people who's always live right there, y'all gonna want them to leave. Y'all ain't building that golf course for them. Right? And so he goes into we have like an hour conversation about, the opportunities that are going to be there and how kids are going to be able to come and play for free and this and that and the third. And it was just this whole conversation, but nothing about it ever felt right. And so he's like, let's talk, and exchange a few phone calls and emails, but it just never felt right. But it also wasn't something that was going to be able to be stopped anyway. Y'all had already made the deal. It was done. What you were trying to do is make everybody else in South Shore comfortable about it. You don't need me to do that. Right? I'm not finna partake in that, because I'm not even comfortable with it. So, to them, it's just y'all about to build this whole golf course, and you walk me through the blueprints and the plans of it and how y'all gonna take it under Lakeshore Drive, where Lakeshore Drive meet Jeffrey. Y'all can go under there so the golfers don't have to cross that street no more and all this other crap. And y'all got that kind of money, bro. Whatever little check you go, that's pennies to you. And all you gonna see me as a sellout. And that's how I'm going to feel at the end of the day. Like, usually, we get him and, he, whatever. Man, no.
But this is how I tie that all back in and kind of being cheated in my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was programmed by these men. Right? You talk to Uncle Beach and you see just in the little engagement you had,
he ain't helped raise me. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I told you before we left it, he cold, but if you'd have been my father, it ain't no comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He looked up to my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting this programming every day,
mm-hmm.
And one of my core tenets, and it's not like I wear this on my chest, but a lot of people put this on me, like,
mm-hmm.
even Mays, like, y'all are the masculine version of, y'all the man voice, y'all the masculine black voice, y'all,
mm-hmm.
you always hear this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the core tenets was, in my household always, for me specifically, was be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, you going to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't going to be nothing else, you going to be a man. Right? And I pushed back against that tenet all my life, but it was effective. Their strategy and how they leveraged it. You know what I mean? I tell you, like, I told you, I broke a door when I was 6. My old man came in the crib like 4 in the morning, like, didn't I tell you to fix this door? Man, I'm 6, bruh.
I asked you how old you was.
But you going to fix it.
I asked you how old you was, Phil.
Whenever there's a responsibility you got to stand up to, you got to stand up. It just is what it is. That was just the nature of our relationship.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So one of my core tenets, and I know my son is irritated by me because I stand on that with him as well.
Mm-hmm.
A man got to stand by his principles, and I'm not budging.
Got to.
Right? And sometimes, and just thinking back to the Amos Wilson concept of manhood, you know, provide a protector of self and community. You are of service to your people, right? Mm-hmm. And you must master the environment in which you inherit.
Mm-hmm.
And from the standpoint of mastering the environment in which I inherit, the moment I attach myself to the worm at the end of whatever hook they offering,
mm-hmm.
I'm no longer in control of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I become needy to whatever that offering is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now that becomes normalized in the lives of my family, or normalized in the lives of my wife. The expectation is we're going to live at this level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I placated or capitulated, or because that's the world I'm in, that's the realm I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And in order for them to make them kind of offerings to me 9 times out of 10, it has to be based on my influence in our community.
Agreed.
And if you want to leverage my influence, how do you want to leverage it? It has to be to wield your ideas.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And mainly, your ideas are not
aligned with my own.
To my people. Right? And then we get to, I know it's 3:56, we're going to go to a break at 4, but
mm-hmm.
it gets to, today we saw, I sent you a picture of Lil Nas X.
Yeah, buddy.
And in context, when we start thinking about influence, do you know that Lil Nas X has the largest selling single in the history of all music?
Mm-hmm. I do know that.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I found it out today.
Mm-hmm.
In the history of all music.
You got to understand what that Old Town Road song was. It was crap hip hop. It was crap country. In terms of like, you know what I'm saying? I like the song, right? But in terms of the purist, wasn't hip hop, wasn't country. But it crossed over into both of those genres to where it's the only song. It's the only song I've ever known that no matter what radio station you clicked on, you were going to hear it playing throughout the day. GCI, Power 92, Kiss 103, B96, whatever the heck the country station is, it's on all of those. He's nominated for like hip hop album of the year or song of the year, country song of the year. You know what I'm saying? And you had those country purists pissed, right? They're like, that's not country music. And then you had that dude, I don't even know his name, hop on the track and validated it as a country song. Because he's like country.
Billy Ray Cyrus or something like that?
Okay. Yep. He's like country, like legend.
Don't break my heart.
Oh, that's that dude?
Break
oh, I ain't know that.
And Miley Cyrus's dad.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus, the connection.
Wow. Dig that. Anyhow, so yeah, that you talking about crossover. That's ain't no more crossing over, fam. So millions of country music fans about it, millions of hip hop fans about it, and everybody in between. Yeah, he had the number one selling out song ever. And then you talking about streams and downloads. I ain't got to go to the store and buy one album. So he's not even competing with, Billie Jean or Bad or Thriller or whatever other song. You know what I'm saying? Like one song that's like super big. You're not competing with that. You have to go buy that single. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta click a couple buttons, download that song.
However, Billboard removed Old Town Road from the country charts.
They did.
Because country rejected it.
They did, but they put it back though. They because he was the number one.
Number 15 and they took it off.
That like dude and then dude was like, nah, it's cool. Like if Billy Ray Cyrus on it, it's cracking. Might as well get Garth Brooks on this joint. So it's different, man. It's different. It's different. You want to show the picture?
Wait, is that picture real?
I don't know if it's real.
I don't know if it's real, and to me that whether the picture is real or not doesn't matter. He tweeted it out. So I'm not like it wasn't somebody else that put a fake picture of him up. So he did it. You know what I'm saying? We'll show y'all on the other side of the break. We'll show y'all this picture that we talking about. If you have not seen it, it is interesting to look at. It's interesting to look at for sure. We will put that picture up on the other side of the break. We'll check in with Esco too, and I'll talk about some of the things I heard earlier on the day on the network, BOD, on the soil. We'll talk about those things and some others on the other side of this break. This is I Said What I Said. Herb and 2 till 6. We'll be right back. You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Werner and Herb Howard. We have a very, very special guest, man, joining us on today's show.
Walter Beach, he's my godfather and one of two of the dopest black men I've met in my entire life.
This is how I always introduce myself. I'm black in attitude, I'm black in behavior, I'm black in belief and thought, and I'm African in spirit. I accept and acknowledge the fact of my African self being intuitively and have developed the cognitive strength to function as a black man in America. As an African black man, my hypocrisy manifests as silent rage. I must decide what my relationship to racism will be. Only I can say when and where I enter my manhood with quiet, undisputed dignity, without violence or special patronage, asking no quarters and giving no quarters. When and where I enter, I take with me my people. That's what the sovereignty that Toussaint was talking about means to me. I'm a sovereign human being. And like he was talking about in that point that we made in Amistad when we was talking about, all of our species demands to be free. They may not have the power to prevent it, but they just demands it. And that's what they do. That's what the struggle is about.
I'm blessed.
Church Chicago's Power Hour. I'm your host, Angie Mims, and
Terrence Keys.
TD, a.k.a. Terrence Daniels.
you got an inspirational word for today?
Oh, man, I'll be honored. Giving honor to God. Hey, man, on Sunday morning, it's early, so we got to give honor to God.
Yes, sir.
The good word for today is don't worry. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes in our life, in our walk, in our days, in our journeys, we find a way to just worry about so many things. Yeah. And we just want to encourage you today that those worries is God's responsibility. Mm-hmm. It's God's responsibility, because at the end of the day, what we worry about, most times we can't handle.
Yes.
If we would agree together, we can't handle it, so we have to give it to God. That's his responsibility. Mm-hmm. And our job is to simply believe.
Yes.
I agree. Simply believe. When we believe, the Bible says all things are possible.
Come on through here.
I better leave that alone.
Preach it already.
You feel it? So be anxious for nothing. Even the Bible says don't worry about anything. In Matthew 6:33 it says don't worry about anything, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things be added unto you. So we're here to encourage you.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning.
Live on the line, we have the newly appointed State Senator Doris Turner. Welcome to the Mace Jackson Show. How are you, Senator Turner?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I really feel like I have arrived now that I'm on the Mace Jackson Show. It's a dream I never thought would happen. You know, in every office that I have held, I served 10 years on the Sangamon County Board. Then I served 2.5 terms on the Springfield City Council. And in each one of those positions, I have never represented a district that was a majority district. But every day I've gone to work to ensure that African Americans in those districts received equitable treatment, and that the legislation that I pushed was beneficial to the entire district, but beneficial to the African Americans that lived in that district, because these are people that for too long have not had a voice. When I was there and I was their voice, I wanted to make sure that everything that I did was going to move my community forward. And that's always been first and foremost in my mind, and that will continue to happen. If you look at ordinances and legislation that I have championed, drafted, and passed, you will see that thread running through there. Everything that happened with the legalization of cannabis in Springfield, I led that and came out of that with a lot of successes. And one of the things that I am most proud of that came out of that was we put the 3% municipal tax on there, but 1.5% of that money will always go to a very specific area of Springfield that is the heart of the East Side.
You mentioned cannabis, but what we've seen is that there has been no access to cannabis for black folks.
we've had to go back and do 2 fixes already. I think that everyone knew that that was going to happen. But, going forward is one of those things that, when you know what you know, there'll be more eyes and ears on a lot of things. So I am very committed to that.
Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson.
Yo, who said devotion had to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd. W-I-I-T-B-P-M. He leaded me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. Please don't leave me now. Please don't leave me now. Please. From glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane.
What's happening, family? We are back. We are inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest on a Monday. Hope y'all are feeling refreshed and ready to attack your week. Hope you've made it a great day already. In the studio, doing all of the hard work in the production studio behind the glass, one and only Miss Sonia Escobar. Esco.
Yeah, I should have been in the dancing thing you were doing. I would have murdered it.
Would have murdered it.
Esco, you can be in the next one. We're going to do it again.
Ça passe. Ma boule.
Yeah, I'd be like
Hey,
jazz number, maybe some cumbia.
Some who? Cumbia.
Cumbia, yeah.
Cumbia.
Or maybe salsa.
Salsa. Cumbia.
Cumbia. What's cumbia?
It's a dance.
Oh, yeah?
And it's just,
Come over here and do it.
No.
Turn your camera on in there. Now, that's what's up, man. You been good? I've been listening to you all day. Heard you and Don hanging out this morning on BOD. Shout out to Don. That's why I wore red today. Don was all redded out today.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was trying
Kansas
to.
City?
Huh?
Because of Kansas City?
Yeah, Don had on her red. She had on like a red. Did she have on the Champion hoodie too?
Mm-hmm.
Both of y'all had on Champion sweatshirts, right? But she did have on her red Kansas City Chiefs hoodie.
I ain't rocking.
Yeah.
I ain't rocking with neither party.
No, but Donna Kansas City Chiefs fan for real. She got real ties to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, she do.
Whatever.
So she was
You were listening.
yeah, she was rocking out the Chiefs. So I was listening to y'all and I was like, let me throw on some red today too. So I just kind of how I'm feeling.
Super
So
cute.
y'all are bloods.
So whoa.
So woke.
So whoa to the beehive.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me
Don't
cut
love.
let me stop. I'm just being serious. You see me eating my fried plantains, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. That what you calling them?
They was yellow when I cut them up.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in the grease. They look like
At this point, they're brisket.
they really.
What kind of grease? What kind of grease?
I burned these plantains so bad, bro. But they still taste okay, man. I made some the other day that was perfect. And they was the consistency was great.
Ooh,
It was good.
Consistency. Bless your heart.
Yeah, it was great.
Down.
And they just taste like little chips. They just taste like little chips. You fry them up, and they just taste like little potato chips. And yeah, these
I don't
ones.
like them. They nasty to me.
You want some? Try
Yeah, I
it.
don't like them.
I've tried them before.
Try it. It's fire.
I'm cool. I've tried them before.
My mom loves them. I don't.
What's
These ain't gonna be the
going
good ones,
on, rude boy? No.
But I figure I would start bringing these as my snack. Otherwise, I'm gonna be out there eating Doritos and Cheetos and Flaming Hots and whatever else is out there in the bar area. Like I need not do that because my weight keeps just falling.
Yeah, it ain't happening for me like that.
Nah,
Me either.
nah.
Damn, but I'm not really trying.
I thought did you do the challenge with Sadiq? The plant-based challenge with Sadiq or no?
I was doing good.
And then you fell off the wagon?
You been cheating, G-Ball? What you been doing?
I've been mad cheating. Every day.
She said she been what?
What's wrong with me?
Matching?
Mad cheating.
Oh, mad cheating.
A little bit healthy.
I thought you. I ain't gonna say what I thought you meant.
Got my money.
Because I didn't want to lie to
eat
you.
this
I didn't.
chicken, got my money. Eat this cheeseburger.
I'm not gonna lie, okay? You know.
No, I have. Listen,
But I have changed to healthier options.
Yeah.
More aware.
It's a process. It's about just changing. I'm not sitting here saying that since I started it, because it's been over a month now, and I'm not saying that since I started it, I've been 100% plant based and not eating. I've fell off a few times. I done had a couple pieces of chicken and you know what I'm saying, some whatever.
But what I love about our group is that you're not supposed to just change.
Yeah.
It's a transition, so go slow. If you don't cook and you eat fast food, don't start cooking now plant-based.
Yeah.
Go get you some plant-based fast food.
Right.
So
they got a plant-based junkie on something like 87, just east of Stony on the south side of the street. It's junk food. So it's the cheeseburger, guy roll variety, and it's nachos and that kind of stuff, but it's plant-based.
This joint in Hyde Park, they can't believe it's not meat.
Right. Oh, they opened up another one of those joints.
I know.
Out south in like Orland.
Mm-hmm.
Dog. I was there the day that they opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to go there for lunch. The line was like wrapped around the building.
Salute though. That's I can't remember the sister's name, man, but
yeah.
Chrissy Harbor's doing the PR for that, so I salute Chrissy for that. But that's also, I can't think of the sister's name. She's like Rico's cousin, Rico Nance's cousin, Rico who does Lighthouse, who does Mickey's Burgers. So you know that's family. I can't think of her name though right now.
Yeah, and so we was finna go up in there, and then we like, nah, it ain't that deep, because it was like cold that day and like snowy. It was like, nah, it ain't that deep, and so didn't go. Turns out, none other than D Millie, Dawn was in there, and she was like, why y'all ain't just call me? I came out and got y'all. We could have walked in the back.
I know you in there.
How am I supposed to just know you here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supposed to know you here. And what's crazy about it is that
check my Dawn GPS.
Right. What's crazy about it is that after she said it, I was like, damn, I saw her truck. But
oh wow.
I didn't.
It didn't register.
Yeah, I saw the. But once she said, I was like, damn, I saw her truck. But I didn't think that was
just out in Orland. Just
don't worry about what I was doing, fam.
Yeah,
you going too far, fam.
I don't go out there.
You going too far. I
realized my whole life is confined to 51st Street.
I was on a date, man.
Bless your heart.
I was going out there for lunch for a date.
Bless your heart.
I just happened to be meeting somebody out there.
Man, if I can't get there on my bike, I already want to go no more. I'm old. It's too far.
It was a ways. I don't go out there very often, man. I had to ask, like, damn, how you get to Orland Mall again? Like which one of these exits am I supposed to take to go to Orland Mall? I'm not even a big shopper in general, so
I go out there to the shooting range when I go, but on average, man, I just when you said that, it really registered on me.
I don't go nowhere.
I'm from 55th to 87th and from 55th to 27th. I ain't going nowhere else. I'm straight.
Yeah, no, I feel, but yeah, it's just like that. So they got options, man. But I've noticed that when I do like eat like trash food, cause I ate trash food. When was it? Sunday.
Don't you feel crappy?
Was it
I
Sunday?
was doing really good.
Yeah, it had. I think it was. Yeah, it was Sunday. Before. Like early in the day before the game, because I was tired. I was hungover from staying up to 4 o'clock drinking the night before, and I actually did try to go to Majani, but they closed on Sundays, and so I ended up just getting like a Italian beef, right, from like some little hood spot, and ate that, and it tasted fine. But my body responds differently to it. Even in just a month, I can feel the difference in my body. Like, fam,
immediately,
why you doing that to us? I thought we was on something else now, fam. Like
sick.
When we get that,
it ain't so much a sick thing. It's like this tightness. It's just like
weight on you.
It's
like plant-based food don't weigh you down like that. It kind of just flow, and the other stuff just kind of hang on you. It don't process and digest is the same.
When we got that turkey stuff, I was like, oh no.
Yep.
I was dying that day.
Yep.
Oh no.
It's different, man. So I think I'm gonna accidentally start eating right just because my body like, fam, I don't like that really like that too much no more, fam.
Discipline and commitment, man. That's all.
Yeah, so so far so good, man. I'm down like 18 pounds, bro.
I'm so proud of you. Good job.
I wish I could tell you, I received it and thank you, but I ain't done nothing.
Look at me.
I
It's 5 pounds.
It's a commitment.
I ain't done a single sit up, fam.
No, it's a commitment to
Oh no, that's a commitment for real.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, no, because other options are readily available around me. Okay, and I be denying it all the time. Like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna stick to this. Eat this salad.
I have switched over certain things like sour cream, plant-based, butter, plant-based.
Yeah,
a bunch of stuff.
that's what's up. They got.
So y'all focus, man.
You just a salad. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do all that, and it ain't even that I don't know how to do all that. I don't have. I'm not eating.
You're not gonna do
time
it.
in doing all that.
So like I had like the Beyond Beef sausages and stuff, and I just put the sausages in the skillet, cook it up, throw it on some bread, and I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
I've learned about seasonings.
I've just done salads and smoothies.
That's mostly what I be on.
That's it.
But I get
The
tired.
group
That
really
gets
helps.
boring.
Shaka, he always gives good recipes.
So
Because I went to Mariano's, I felt overwhelmed.
He told me to get in the group. I ain't got time for that, but I'll get time. I got too much going on in my life.
I'm finishing up my semester, so it's like.
Yeah.
I should have took that money. Then I could have a personal chef.
Right. Yeah, I want plant-based everything, make it fat. No, I've been doing like tacos, little stuff like that. It's not all that fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
It's just again, it's time consuming.
it's not as fun as eating a whole large double sausage pizza from Italian Fiesta. It's not that fun, no.
Yes.
But it works.
Brain power.
Hey, man, let's show this picture, man.
Do we have to?
I want to.
Speaking of fake meat, okay.
Fake breast.
Speaking of fake breast.
Look at Candace talking smack. You make time for what's important to you too, Toussaint Werner. You're right.
100%.
And that's not important.
If somebody tells you I'm too busy, it just means you're not a priority.
You and Candace, man. Check out your boy. He's up on the screen.
He's up there?
Check out your boy, fam. So what y'all are currently looking at is a picture of Lil Nas X that he tweeted out, okay, from his own Twitter.
Has 17,000 retweets
from his verified Twitter page.
1,000 likes. This has 17,000 retweets, 236,000 likes.
That's so fake. I see the makeup.
He may not have gotten the actual breast augmentation, right?
The man says, got bored, so I bought titties. What you guys think?
But he was Nicki Minaj for Halloween.
He was.
But he posted
This ain't Halloween, though.
Right. So he posted
His whole life is Halloween.
February.
His whole life is Halloween. So.
This is Black History Month. This is what we on in Black History Month?
Hey.
This is how we represent ourselves?
Hey. This is next level stuff right here. Like, this is next level stuff. I'm always saying.
No, Nicole those are not his knees.
His knees.
Those are his new titties. That's what he said. I got bored, so I bought titties.
Yeah.
Come on, dog.
Yeah, listen. So, whether the picture is photoshopped or not, right? The point is this: he put out this picture as though he has double D breasts right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? What are we on out here right now? Like, what kind of time are we on? And again, if that's what you on, cool.
No. That's Herb's perspective.
Herb is the only one talking. Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying.
That is not the perspective of I said what I said. Right. Podcast. Those are the views of Herb Howard individually.
Let me finish what I'm saying. So if that's what you're on in terms of I was born a man, I feel like a woman, so I'm gonna go be a woman, and I'm gonna go be a transsexual and all that. I'm going to go through these processes. Cool. This is completely next level in my personal opinion. This is not even trying to say I still got my regular man fade. I got my regular whole man goatee. I am just a man with double D breast out here. What am I on? Like what? That's next level, G. That's next level. Now you're gonna have Shorty saying, "No, I am a boy. No doubt about it. I am a boy, but I want some titties." No, like what? This is next level. Like this is next level stuff right here, fam. This is I know a transsexual woman in this city, who I promise you, if she walked in here right now, you'd be like, damn, she has a very nice body. You wouldn't think nothing about it. But this is, I don't know. Whatever, man. Whatever. Come on, too. Come on.
I'm disgusted.
Come on, let it out.
Too much further than that.
Well, let it out, man.
It's. I keep saying, man, we got to draw the line, brother. There has to be a line. There has to be a line. There has to be a line. There has to be a line, man. We can't just accept anything.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be some rules somewhere, right? And here's the backlash.
I can say y'all can take this picture down.
Yeah,
now.
you sure can. So, look at Maze.
What was this you were saying about 4 titties again? I always say that the only thing better than 2 titties is 4 titties.
Listen,
not these.
I know we in this. Everything is acceptable. Everything is okay.
I'm gonna tell you what I asked Maze on the break, and I'm gonna tell you his response to
society, but it's not. It's not. We are creating a slippery slope, and that slippery slope will not have any progressive gains for us. It just won't.
Look like he had some gains to me, bro.
That's your perspective. Looks like he took a loss to me, right? But think about this, though, right? You saw the commercials during the NFL yesterday. You know?
Yeah.
And
we gotta talk about that.
In some of them commercials, they was pushing out this kind of, we are the NFL, we are here for the people, and we're for everybody's upwardly mobility. They put some black conversations in the commercials. They put some transgender conversations in the commercial. That they're normalizing ideas that, in my mind, should not be normalized, and they're doing it on the backs of black people, right? So when you look at the spectrum of masculinity, black people hoard both ends of the spectrum, black males specifically. Right? On the one end of what you call toxicity,
sure,
we hold the banter and the logo and the branding of what is toxic masculinity. If that's a thing, because I don't believe in that as a thing. In my mind, everything that you hold to be toxic is really what's innate and natural to manhood. Right? And then on the very other end of that spectrum of toxic masculinity, kind of lies this gender fluid conversation.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And at the brand of that gender fluid conversation lies Lil Nas X, and not even Lil Nas X. If you take him away, you got the other guy, Billy, whomever. But they're making us the poster child for that as well. Right? Well, a balanced society would line up in the middle. Any balanced society around any idea, right? The core and value of the universe, as above, so below, is the key is to success is being balanced. But here we are tipping the scales
way
on
to the
both
left,
sides of both spectrums.
Yeah,
because we're being used, and we're so gullible, and we're so in need of validation that we just rock with it.
Right.
We rock with it because we don't have any intrinsic value.
Right.
Right. And when we start looking at the conversation around manhood and masculinity, and we allow this to be a representation. I'm not gonna say the representation.
It may be becoming the representation.
If we allow this to be a representation, I got to ask, where are the men in our community? Like, there's a fear
about saying that
from saying
that
something
this ain't
is
right.
wrong with this.
Right.
There's a fear.
I can't say this ain't right.
This is wrong.
Right.
That child is mentally unstable. Period. Right. Sister Sarah, what's her name? I think it's Shahrazad Ali.
It's close enough.
Shahrazad Ali. That's her name. She wrote The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. One of the best-selling books in history. Right. In that book, it has some qualms about black men need to smack black women in the mouth. That's like a very small portion of it. And that kind of discredited the whole other conversation because she had that little portion of it in it.
Right.
But the conversation itself made a lot of sense. But outside of that, she had an interview one time, and I thought it was very interesting. And she was talking about our community in general. She was like, homosexuality is an act, it's a behavior. You know what I mean? So when you start switching and you start changing the inflection in your tone, and you're going beyond a sexual context, you're going into a behavioral context. Right? And a behavioral context is operating outside of the norm of your innate humanity.
Sure.
And she was like, that is by definition insanity.
Agreed wholeheartedly.
But and then from a logical standpoint,
Agreed wholeheartedly.
even if you say, "Hey, I like other boys sexually,"
Sure.
when you start changing how your tone, when you start changing how you move, when you start emulating these other genders,
Entirely right. Mm-hmm.
you're not making a sexual choice no more. You're making a behavioral choice, and that is, in its essence, insanity.
Right.
I don't see how this isn't insanity.
Right. Not. I'm attracted to men. I don't even want to be a man. Right. Like we're beyond. It's another thing.
And people
right. So I feel you.
justify it and make sense of it in their mind. Somebody told me not too long ago that there was like 60 genders. How?
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Help me understand.
They're two.
Help me understand. And then when you retort and say, "Man, are you crazy?"
Now you crazy.
Now I'm the villain.
You insensitive and you is homophobic and all. It's like, no, I'm not, fam. I'm really not. But this is another level. This is another level. But again, it's money. You assimilate and people aspire. He got the #1 song ever.
But it's bigger than money.
He's all on commercials.
It's bigger than money to me. It's bigger than money.
It should be.
It's control, right? It's media. I just said it the other day. When we can go this Black History Month.
Uh-huh.
We played clips of King in 1960, whatever it was before he died, when they was making these clips, right? And he said, America's biggest illnesses are one, capitalism, militarism, racism, and media. And they're all used to wield power. Right? They're all used to wield power. This has 236,000 likes. And we need to put this in context, y'all. Do you know what it means to touch the lives of 236,000 people?
Yeah. 250,000 people. Just this photo.
That's 20 years ago, you'd have never had the possibility of coming in contact with a quarter of that number in your real life.
Nah.
Unless you had the keys to the media networks. Right? So they dominate and control and dictate thought and behavior via media. So when you start presenting images like this, specifically when wealth is the value asset, and he looks like wealth to a certain demographic, right? It allows them to say, well, maybe this is my opportunity to obtain this kind of a lifestyle. Just like I said, you don't necessarily aspire to whiteness, but as you aspire to wealth, it's no way to separate yourself from aspiring to whiteness.
No.
Right? Just like when you look at the rappers and they project criminality all day, and it still looks like wealth, the shorties out here on the blocks, the old blocks, are aspiring to those guys. So if they can be these kind of criminals with no consequence, then maybe I can achieve this level of wealth as well. And it all goes back to there are no rules.
Right, because there's no team, there's no alignment. Just like we was talking about earlier, if we're not all aligned to anything, it ain't no team. Then nah, how can I see something as being detrimental to a non-existent team? Nah, it ain't detrimental to the team. The team don't exist, and I certainly don't play for it. It's the idea, right?
Where does your self-value exist, though?
Just told you right here, sir. Like,
man, this is crazy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was all on commercials last night. Them commercials cost bread. The last time I checked, and I haven't even checked this in a couple years, last time I checked, there was $3 million a slot for 30-second commercials on the Super Bowl. $3 million a pop. You know what I'm saying? So,
slippery slope, though. Also, last night we didn't talk about it, but they were promoting the female referee in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And then the other day or this whole week, I've been reading these articles about one, because when we start thinking about executive orders, that was one of Joe Biden's 15 executive orders for the first 100 days.
The goal is extinction.
I'm gonna let transgender athletes participate in high school and college sports.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So you start getting men. Just last week, I just read an article about two guys that ran in some kind of track meet and beat everybody by I don't know how much. You think about the MMA fighter that beat that lady half to death because I don't care, you might have got the chains, but you're a man. It is a difference. We are different.
We ain't just physiologically we're different.
Period.
Right. I'm sure there are some women out there who could whip my ass, but it ain't many. Like just that's just the reality of the situation here, right? Like it just is there's a difference.
Milton Ingram says, if I say I'm a dog and live my life as one, the system would lock my ass up and throw away the key. Can I identify as a white man?
You'd be crazy as heck.
Can I identify as a white man?
No.
I don't get it then. Why isn't it not the same?
Well, I identify as trans-slender.
Trans-slender? I'm really a size 12, but I identify as a size 8. I'm trans-slender.
Okay. But I mean, think about how insane that is. Bless your heart.
That's our truth.
Bless your heart. Does
Hey,
the store make trans-slender sizes?
Shout out to Just Niche, man. I've heard her do that joke
What
a lot.
sizes do you buy at the store?
Right, like
Are they conforming to the trans-slender
I'm
idea?
a 5 when I walk in, and I buy a 5 when I get home. But I know inside I'm a 5.
When I go into the bank try to get a loan, can I be trans Caucasian?
I'm really a thousandaire, but I feel like a billionaire. Run my dough, Phil.
It's my truth.
Run my loan.
Run me. What do you mean? It's mine.
Gee, this is insane, man.
It's different, man. It's different. It's the reality. I want to acknowledge this thing before I forget real fast. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got like 10 black coaches on their staff. And I didn't really know that until like today.
Randall.
Huh?
Randall is one of them.
Antoine Randall from the crib is one of them. Shout out to Thornton. He went to Thornton, right? Yeah, he went to Thornton. Then he went to Indiana. He could hoop and play quarterback. Ended up playing wide receiver in the National Football League for a while. Won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. Antoine Randall is on their staff. Byron Leftwich is on their staff. Todd Bowles, Keith Armstrong. 10 black dudes are on their staff. And they also have a woman on their staff. She's and so I thought that was really, really cool once I realized that, and I commend Bruce Arians for putting together a staff like that. Not many people do it, but I also don't think there was a coincidence that team won, because for I don't know, since at least the 70s, black men have dominated that game. So why you think that after going back to the 70s, you certainly have guys who are of coaching age and have been of coaching age for a very long time. Why wouldn't there be the same people who could impart the wisdom and knowledge of the game on the next generation? It should be a whole lot of black coaches. And so I just thought that once I found that out, I was like, that's what's up. That's what's up for Bruce Arians. That's what's up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and, Tom Brady or whatever. Good that they won, having 10 black coaches on the staff. Because usually what happens is the team that wins the Super Bowl, their coaching staff starts to get plucked by all the other teams, right? Like, dang, that team won. Who was their offensive coordinator? Who was their defensive coordinator? Who was their wide receivers coach? Who was their defensive backs coach? I want him to be my defensive coordinator now. Maybe I want him to be my head coach now. And so I thought that was really, really cool to see. Once I found that out, I didn't know that until I knew Antoine Randall, Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles were there, but I didn't know that they had 7 other black coaches on that staff. I thought that was really, really cool. So I just wanted to acknowledge that piece. Along those same lines, but not quite, the symbolism of the National Football League is really it's really getting on my nerve. It's really, really, really getting on my nerves. The commercials that they run in, these ads that they are running, the fact that every single football game has a black person singing the national anthem is really starting to get on my nerves. Like, y'all think since we don't want to stand for it no more, now let me just run out black person after black person after black person to sing the national anthem. Gets on my nerve. Sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. They had this supposedly international contest, right, for somebody to come be represented and win the contest. Who wins it? 12, 13-year-old black girl, right? Put her up on the TV. Oh, 12, 13-year-old black girl won the thing. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Like, cut it out. It's symbolism. It offers us nothing. And then I get really, really, really irritated when black people are like, oh, look, the NFL finally got it. Got what? They finally learned. No, they didn't. And you aren't getting anything from this symbolism. Cut it out. The commercials piss me off. The performance of the national anthem pissed me off. The little black girl winning whatever little sweepstake thing that was, all that pissing me off. Stop it. Stop it. Its symbolism is trash, and it gets on my nerve.
But that's what we want, though.
I know, and that's why they spoon feed it to you. Hey, take this, take this, take that. Man, stop it, man. To heck with that doggone song, man. And I heard y'all play it earlier, and Whitney Houston murdered the joint. There's no doubt about it. She killed it. Okay. But forget that song. It's trash. Read the second stanza of it. It's a racist song. It talks about killing black people. I never want to hear it again. I'm never going to observe it, acknowledge it, respect it, stand for it. I'm trying not to curse, man. Forget that song.
But see, I struggle, though, G. I struggle. Because it's the same conversation over and over and over again. What is the NFL but to keep placating you? What are they to do but to keep placating you? They want your money.
Right, but they aren't doing anything real, though.
But they don't have to do nothing real because we don't want nothing real.
Agreed.
We want to be placated to. We didn't ask Joe Biden for nothing real. Matter of fact, when someone did ask him for something real, we shunned the someone.
Did you see the suit he had on?
No. But that's my point is, because we're ignorant,
mm-hmm.
at least that's the only thing I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're ignorant,
mm-hmm.
we allow all of these situations to take place. I think it's ignorant to allow Lil Nas X to be a visual representation of black masculinity, of black malehood.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's ignorant,
mm-hmm.
personally,
mm-hmm.
right? But I also think it's ignorant for us to blindly vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I think it's ignorant,
yeah.
right? But when we start to confront these people about their decision-making because we want to align ourselves with the American society, then all they're going to give you is symbolism because you're not asking for nothing else. That's what we ask for. That's what seemingly that's what we appreciate. It's interesting, right? If you go to the mosque on the day that Minister Farrakhan is speaking, you can't find a seat, you can't get in the door, you can't park nowhere close. But you go to the mosque any other day when he's not speaking,
mm-hmm.
you can sit in any row you want to because ain't nobody in.
Nobody's in there.
We love theater.
We do.
So why would you have to fulfill somebody with some substance when all you want is icing?
Mm.
If all I got to give you is icing, you ain't gonna never taste my cake.
One of my coaches just said you could put syrup on crap. It don't make it pancakes, man. Like,
but it's what we respond to.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be mad at the NFL, but we was tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't watched the NFL since Cap, but I watched it last night.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'm just flat out bored.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
The game was huff too.
It was huff, right?
The game
but still,
was huff.
My point, but even that, right? We got brothers online. Man, watch the GOAT kill tonight. Watch my man. This man just did a whole year's worth of interviews
mm-hmm.
with a MAGA hat behind him
mm-hmm.
on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on one hand, you condemn.
Yay for going to talk to him.
Not even yay. You
mm-hmm.
condemn Donald Trump.
Oh, right. Right.
You condemn Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But then Donald
Here's
Trump's
his most famous supporter.
Becomes the GOAT.
His most famous supporter.
Right? You're cheering because this is your superhero, but this is also a representation of what you deem as the Antichrist. You can't have it both ways, cuz.
You can't revolt against that in which you love.
You cannot revolt against that in which you love. And obviously you love.
I love Tom Brady. So I can't hold him, you know what I'm saying? I can't revolt against his beliefs and all that. Right? That's a real thing.
I can't understand it. How can you be mad at Donald Trump? Because you in uproar, oh, he got to go.
Right.
Right?
To the point to where you put somebody else in his position just because he ain't him.
Even if you didn't vote, I don't care. You
just saying.
Pilfer a certain kind of a message.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then the guy who's his number one,
his most famous supporter,
mm-hmm. and he makes sure that you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about the reporter that called him on the MAGA hat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And what did he say? He was like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
The man, Kaepernick, kneeled for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For you.
Mm-hmm. Give up his livelihood.
Right? And you run around here championing Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
While despising Donald Trump. It's oxymoronic. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Nah, it doesn't, man. But, you know, when you don't require much or you're willing to sacrifice or sell out, right? And now I'm using sacrifice the other way around. Like, if you're willing to sacrifice liberation for these other things, right? Then that's where you at with it, man. That's where you can find your alignment. I went out there and asked Maze on the break. I said, Maze, if Victoria's Secret came to you and said, hey, we got a $100 million endorsement deal for you, you just got to get some double D's implanted, you going? What you think Maze said? I'm just playing. I don't want to hear what you think, Maze said. He said no. He said no. I was just playing. He said no. He said, man, you get out of here. That don't make no sense. But I'm willing to bet you a lot of people would sign that $100 million contract and go up under that knife. Guaranteed. Like, and wouldn't think that much about it. Like, for real. So it is what it is, man.
But it's like, again, to how do you align yourself, or how do you fight this? Or how do you create an argument, or how do you create a movement, or how do you move in unison when these are the ideas that
it ain't no team, G.
become valid?
It ain't no team, G. That's why the dude could tell you he loved Tom Brady.
But even beyond team, right? Even beyond team, you ain't got to be on my team. Be on your own damn team. And if you're saying on one hand, I don't like this behavior,
but I love Tom Brady,
and then on the other hand, you saying I champion this behavior, that also is insanity. That's my this is totality of my argument. We get Lil Nas X, we get the champion of Tom Brady, we get the despisement of Donald Trump, we get all of that because we're not rooting in nothing. We the damn thing in front of the tax place that's just blowing with the wind. Yeah. You're not rooting in nothing. There are no rules. Yeah. So whatever fits, whatever argument you want to stand on, whatever side of the fence you want to stand on, in whatever moment, you become validated standing on this side of the fence in said moment. Not rooting in anything. Right? So it's no context to why you stand here because it's not based in anything. It's not anchored in nothing. Right? So whenever the media tells you this is how you should feel because you're ignorant, you begin to feel that way.
But we do that in many aspects of our society, bro. You tell me, you use a great example all the time of this thing when you talk about, kids playing in the front yard, running all through the grass, and the mother of the house come out and say, "Hey, y'all get out that grass, y'all messing up my grass." And the father like, "Yo, we ain't raising grass, we're raising children, okay? Stop putting the grass over the kids. Like, let them kids run around and play, right?" But if I'm on this grass thing, then no, the kids, they not the priority in this thing. And so it's the same thing when you talk about it in this money conversation, or you talk about this assimilation into, white culture in America conversation. If that's what I'm trying to get to, raising these children, and that ain't, you know what I'm saying? Whenever there's a conflict of those two things, I'm going to side with the other thing. And so that's just kind of what we see, man. Joe Biden opened up the Super Bowl yesterday in it was a black suit with white pinstripes through it. Looked like it was straight out of like Harlem Renaissance or something, like straight some pimp type suit wearing stuff, right? Nothing wrong with the suit in and of itself. White like silk shirt tie thing under it. If Barack Obama had worn a suit like that, they would have drugged him. They drugged him when he put on the tan suit. If he had put on this pimp black pinstripe thing, they would have went crazy. Crazy. What you laughing at, Sko?
The suit.
Oh, you seen it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that like he had on like.
Is that Navy?
It was like red before he found the nation type suit. You know what I'm saying? Like
extra.
Yeah.
But again, right? Until we're going to find ourselves in this perpetual cycle of nothingness until we're anchored into something.
Agreed.
Right? And traditionally, we've been anchored into our blackness by default. Right? Because being black had a standard. It meant what you couldn't do. Right? Just the very narrative, right? Not 60 years ago when you saw the water fountain, you saw the white sign that said, your ass can't drink it.
Whites only.
You understand me? So by the very narrative of what you were not allowed to do, I went to this I don't know what you would call it. It was kind of this program on race, this conversation on race. And they did this little icebreaker where they had these little memo pads going around, and they said, when someone mentions your ethnicity, what does it make you feel? Now, it wasn't but 2 black people in the room, right? And maybe an Indian woman and maybe a Hispanic person, right? And the rest of the people in this room was all white. And the goal was to pass these things around and have other people read them so that they would be anonymous. Well, if there's only 2 black people in the room and you asking us how it feels, then we're not anonymous. If there's only 1 Indian in the room, then it's not anonymous. Not that I cared, because I would have stood up in the middle of the room and told you what it made me feel. Don't matter to me, right? But what I found most interesting about that conversation is that when them papers got passed around, the black people were putting words like, it makes me feel pride, it makes me feel strength, it makes me feel fear. You know, it had a feeling attached to being born black. Everybody else, well, not everybody, the 3 people of color in the room had some kind of attachment to how they felt to being whoever they were. But every white person in that room that was asked had no attachment to whiteness. Didn't mean nothing. And what that really made me understand was that that's sovereignty. I ain't got to feel nothing about this. Because it don't feel no kind of way.
I don't gotta have no team. This, like,
this is the standard.
It ain't. There's nothing I'm fighting against. We good.
Right. But see,
I can just be.
Again, the through line of America is that white life is more valuable. Right? So when you are not in that through line, then you have to have some reference point to what it means to be you. Right? We've lost the conscious understanding of what it means to be black. Without the conscious, and we lack the conscious understanding of what it means to move forward in America. You still have not obtained.
You ain't mastered your environment yet.
These opportunities, this level of access, this level of education. You don't have. Cherie, shout out to Cherie. She sent me stats.
What up, Cherie?
She sent me stats yesterday about our economic situation. Up to date stats from like the 60s to 2018 or 2019. Right? The level in which those statistics have changed in those 40 or 50 plus years, in some instances, they reverted backwards. We've not made any gains. But emotionally and behaviorally, you're operating in the construct of you are in that through line of your life having value. So blackness itself has no value because in your mind, it's not in reference to what you can't do.
Right.
Because I can do, I can be whatever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to do. Right? So you act with this level of freedom that you really don't have.
Right.
And you're being leveraged and used to move into whatever space they want you to move into. If they want to make you the symbol for criminality, done. And not only will it be effective for the white society, the larger white society, now it's effective for us because we have the same idea sets.
Yeah.
Right? So when a little dude in our neighborhood becomes the carjacker, there's no empathy for him whatsoever. Because you look at him like the larger white society would look at him.
You want him locked up and dead too?
Kill him. I could give a damn what happened to Short. You know what I mean? When the Lil Nas X comes out with double D's on his chest, that's okay. He's just expressing himself because it's no larger or it's no context to the larger conversation of black masculinity. Because it's just Lil Nas X move. It's just Lil Nas X behavior. But it's never just Lil Nas X behavior when we are an oppressed people in an oppressive system.
It's across the board. But, you juxtapose how we respond to the carjacker to how we respond to the shorty offering to take your cart back to Aldi's and so he can keep the quarter. No, shorty. You know what I'm saying? Or the bucket boy. Or the shorty just at the gas station and just ask you for change. Nah, shorty. He getting on your nerve. Okay. How long you think he gonna stand out there having people tell him, no, I don't see you, I don't care about you, before somebody else be like, hey, you got a pistol? You ain't gotta ask no more. You could demand. Like, now he gotta die. He just asked you for $1 yesterday, though. Right? You couldn't be bothered for $1. Cool.
But you can't be bothered for the $1, and that's real.
Because you don't got it.
You don't got the $1.
That's fine. Right? But what I'm saying is, what do you think is gonna happen? He's supposed to just die? He gonna live outside?
But see, that in itself is skewed too, though. It's a skewed argument because it equates his value to the $1. A $1 that you didn't have in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but what's happening is because you're seeing him in the same context as the larger white society, he ain't just lacking the $1. He's also lacking the love that you would give to a child in your community.
Baby.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Even if you tell him I don't have it, there's a way to do it, though.
But it ain't about the $1. He's begging for the $1 because ain't nobody loving him in the first place. Because if he came from a community, whatever that $1 was going to be used for, somebody would already gave him that resource.
Right.
You hungry? Shorty, come eat.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You need some J's. My little man wear the same size as you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we're operating within the paradigm, the mind shift, the mind state, same as the white person because the barriers, at least the public barriers or the open area barriers, have been removed. And we legitimately believe we're operating out here singularly.
We do.
Everything we do is a representation of us. Right? So I get the $1 analogy. I'm not disagreeing. But we don't have the $1. And that's part of the context.
That is fine, G.
Right? But just because we don't have the $1, we can't allow them to fall to the wayside. But we
That's
do
what I'm saying.
I get it. But we do allow them to fall to the wayside. But what I'm saying about the $1 is really is tangible. Right? You really don't have the $1. In most instances, probably.
I agree with you.
But you do got a hug.
But just little stuff. I'm coming out the gas station on 75th and Stony one time. I don't know what I was in there for because it's whatever. Anyhow, I wasn't getting gas right there because it's too expensive. But I come out of there and it's a shorty. He's selling deodorant, right? I don't know where he got it from. Walmart, I hope, right? Hope he stole it from there, right? Or Walgreens, whatever. He's selling deodorant, and he's selling them like 4 for $5, right? Like 4 sticks of deodorant for like $5, and he actually had my brand of deodorant, and so I was like, yeah, give me all 4 of them, right? He didn't have 4 of mine though, and he had some women's stuff or whatever, and so anyway, I was like, all right, cool. Just sell me 2 of them, right? And he was like, well, if I do that, it's gonna mess up my bundle price. And so I was like, cool, I hear you, right? This is a true story. I really had to pee, right? So I just hopped in the car and I was right around the corner from the crib, going to the crib. Then I'm like, I gotta go back because not to sell him this, I have because the whole time I'm driving back around, I'm like, he didn't understand this thing, right? And so I'm like, I gotta go back to so you can know that, bro. Okay, you selling them for $4 for $5, right? So you selling them basically $1 for $1.25, right? I'll give you the $4 for $2, right? Just sell them to me for $2. You know what I'm saying? Or the $2.50 for the $5. You won't sell it. You won't even. You know what I'm saying? You won't sell it. You're not. So I go back.
Understand the math.
You didn't understand the math. I'm like, bro, you gotta understand something. You just walked away from this like for no reason. He's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, like come on, fam. Like even that little stuff, like just spend a little time with him, help him with this business. That's his business. I don't give a doggone about no LLC and all that. Who said that's his business, right? I'm gonna help him with his business because right now he's smoking himself out here. First of all, your product is worth more than $1.25. If you're gonna sell it for that, cool. But when I offer you an opportunity to sell it for double and give me 2 for $2.50, you know what I'm saying? Like a piece, just do it, fam. Just do it. I just didn't have time. Like I had to pee so bad, I didn't have time to stand there and tell him that. But I did. Like, let me go back out the house and go tell him this because this, fam, you tweaking right now. Like we gotta I don't know, man. Like we gotta raise them up, G. Like you got to. That's just what it is.
But back to the conversation we just had the other day. How does broken people raise healthy people? I think it's illogical to make that have that as a
expectation,
right? Right. I think that's illogical to have that as an ask.
So then what? Where we
part
start?
of the context of the conversation is we don't even recognize the brokenness, and that's kind of what I want us to see when I'm on this microphone. right? Like, I don't think you can move forward without having a full understanding of where you are, right? And where we are is we're broken, right? Look, I watched Martin, was it Malcolm and Mary? Mary and Malcolm.
Yeah, I keep hearing about it. I ain't watched it yet.
So I watched this weekend.
In fact,
and
my
you
brother
should
Des just popped in here. He text me and told me, "Have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't even know
check
what
it
about."
out. Because everybody's response, it was, what's my girl's name? The little yellow girl that used to be in Disney movies.
I really don't know, bro.
Whatever. She's popular. Zendaya.
Okay, yeah, I know it. Yeah.
So Eric has a crush on Zendaya. That's why I should keep remembering. So Zendaya's in it, and Denzel Washington's son is in it. It's pretty much a one backdrop movie. Like,
Okay.
it's just like the
Yeah.
It's one location,
One
and
setting.
just
Like a
dialogue.
play.
It's like a play. You know what I mean? And I think the dialogue is brilliant. I think it's brilliant, and it pulls out the vulnerabilities in black relationships in a lot of ways. But the dialogue is also aggressive, right? And
Boosie say, "Spoiler alert."
yeah, I could care less. But I put it up on my page. Now, I got my own thought about it, right? But I know that when I come off the way I want to come off, is always centered in this kind of male toxicity. That at least that's the social understanding of me today. So instead of telling the world what I think, I say, "Hey, what did y'all think of this movie? I thought it was pretty good. What did y'all think?" Just kind of blanket statement. You know what I mean? And most of the people still thought it was good. But there was few. Even in thinking it was good, the response was, "Ooh, it was so toxic though. They was too toxic. They was too toxic."
I saw a lot of. I seen it. It was good. I never watched it again. It was too draining. It was too much.
Emotionally draining. It was toxic, and it was this, that, and the third. And for me though, it wasn't toxic at all. It was honest. And I think that we've removed ourselves so far from the damn truth that anything that looks like truth becomes
Toxic.
triggering. It's truth that Lil Nas X walking around with titties is sick.
Right. Nah, I've been seeing people who have like these conversations, right? Or they'll post a video to go live, and they'll give these little caveats at the beginning to say like, "Hey, you know, I may, like they give you a trigger warning, right? And say, well, I'm about to talk about this, and I understand that may be triggering for some people." And they'll go on to have a conversation about something that is really, really valuable and really, really prevalent in our community, right? It's like, that's a conversation you need to have, right? And to heck with people being triggered about it, that is a necessary conversation, because I never see anybody come with a trigger warning that says, "Hey, I'm about to show you Lil Nas X titties."
That, you know what I mean?
It's like that should come with a trigger warning. You having a conversation about it was like about abortion or something like that, and the sister was like, I want to have it's a trigger warning for, like, it's a conversation that's worth having, right? And people need to hear it. Like, you can act like it ain't cracking, it's cracking, right? That is happening out here. And so have that conversation. Unapologetically have that conversation. If ain't nobody giving me a trigger warning about Lil Nas X, I don't need a trigger warning to talk about black liberation or nothing else.
I was watching Chris Rock's Tambourine, the extended version the other day. They came out with a new extended version on Netflix. Yeah. And this wasn't part of the extended version, but it was one of the jokes in Tambourine. He was like, he was taking his daughter to high school orientation. And he was like, you know, the assistant principal comes out and says, "One thing we do not tolerate here at this school is bullying. We do not have any bullying. We have a zero bully tolerance." And Chris Rock said, at that moment, I wanted to get up and take my daughter up out of there. Because you're failing her. Because bullies is part of life. She was like, matter of fact, y'all do 50% and then bullies do the other 50% in making her a whole person. You going to teach her, and then bullies going to teach her to deal with life, because that's real.
He got a whole piece on that. You know what he said? He said, we spent all this time getting rid of bullies, getting rid of bullies, getting rid of bullies, to now nobody knows how to deal with bullies. He said, then what happens? Then a real bully came along, and nobody knew what to do with him. Talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Said, then a real bully came, nobody knew how to handle him.
Nobody know what to do no more.
Yeah.
Everybody shook.
Right.
But you also, you not just shook, you under control.
Oh, 100%.
You completely under control.
Yes, you are.
Right?
Yes, you are.
And I thought about that, and I said, well, damn, man, just from a scientific perspective, right? You don't get some dirt in your system, you ain't immune to shit.
That's a real spill.
You could die, you could be living in a clean house all your life, walk outside and die immediately, because you've not built up an immunity. And that's what this, in my mind, that's what a lot of this is. It's like, this is the response to everybody getting a participation trophy. You ain't had to endure shit.
Everything.
And you think everybody's supposed to be responding to you in certain manners. And in essence, denying them of their own humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You can't dictate how I'm supposed to respond to you, fam. I'm a human. Right? So even when women say a man should never hit a woman, you believe that shit if you want to.
Right. Keep hitting him.
Right? You believe that shit if you want to, because what you're doing is denying that man his humanity. You don't know what's going on in that man's mind.
Mm-hmm.
I got daughters and a wife and a mom and I had a sister.
Mm-hmm.
I don't never want no man beating their head in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to never put them out there in the world and say, don't think this man won't hit you back. That ain't real.
Right.
Right? But this is we're creating a paradigm now where this becomes the overarching philosophy. You can't make me triggered. You can't offend me in any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
What's offensive to you ain't got shit to do with what's offensive to me.
I might not be offended by it at all.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's your prerogative, but it's
This
also
was
my
mine.
prerogative.
Right.
Right? And your prerogative holds no more weight than my own.
It does not.
So you might not be offended by Lil Nas X. I don't want to see it. I told you I had a apartment full of, I don't know what you would call them,
Mm-hmm.
guys who didn't
Oh,
want to be guys.
no, yeah.
Right?
That was intense.
And they would be coming down the street wearing all their little clothes.
It was intense.
And my son is young.
Impressionable.
Young and impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be offensive, so it was forcing me to make a move. Like every time I saw it, I was like, all right, let's go in the crib real quick. They just walking down the street.
Nah, listen, again, I'm very tolerant of some of these behaviors. To an extent. It was intense what was happening in that unit at the end of your block. It was intense, okay? And Eric like to go out there and hoop, and he in the back, and he's shooting his ball, and then they in the back, and they doing some whole other stuff. Like, it's girl, and they dressed all this kind of way, and it's
Next
girl,
level,
and
man.
bitch.
I went out there with my gun one time, because it got out.
Doing out
it
here,
got
fam.
insane.
Yeah, I know. That's when you said it was like 100 of them out there.
She was like 300 of them people in there. And I'm in there.
I'm so proud of you right now for your terminology.
This is true. And I told Herb this. I'm legitimately sitting on my balcony and I'm saying to myself, am I offended because they loud and obnoxious and it's late? Or am I offended because they're gay? Like, I had this conversation with myself on my porch before I went down there with my gun. Right? Yeah, for real.
Do you hear this?
She can play it.
Do you hear this Boys Town beat in the background?
It's true. So before I went down there with my gun, the first thing I said, let me be sensible.
Right.
So I went over to the house and I said, hey man, can y'all go get whoever owns the house?
Uh-huh.
Fuck you, nigga. Okay, I'll be right back. Then I went and got my gun. I said, now go get his ass now.
Right.
Right, in the conversation changed.
I'll be right back.
But long story short, man, what ended up happening is they pile up out this crib. It's legitimately like 200 of these people. 200 of these, and they from every age range, from like 18 to like 50. I'm talking about the picture of Lil Nas X that you just showed, that walked up out of that house. That night, about 3 or 4 of them walked about that house.
It's different.
I don't know, fam. I'm not. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that piece. Now I'm more liberal on the topic than you are, but some of this stuff is extremely detrimental, and I'm not even with it. So I feel you. I feel you on that piece for sure.
Right, and then they really legitimately operate in that space like they are women. So they threatening my neighbors, all my female neighbors. They threatening them.
Yeah.
Right, but as women, though, you know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird, bro. And I'm not equipped. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not equipped at all.
You said I.
You know,
Let
that's
me
different.
go get my.
Yeah, it was too many of them. We ain't finna fight. Yeah, it's not finna happen.
Because
that ain't gonna be on my jacket. Ain't nobody gonna be able to say 2 got whooped by
300 men
Shim
though.
and them.
But be clear, 300 men though.
Well, what happened was gonna be 16 of them was gonna be laying down before I get stolen.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
guarantee you that.
That's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, physiologically speaking, right? We're still talking about a man, right?
It was weird.
Yeah. Let's take a break, man. When we come back from break, we'll dive deep into the conversation. Going until 6 o'clock. This is I Said What I Said. Herb and 2 will be right back.
Tomorrow, as the mayor made in her comment, we are expecting all pre-K through 8th grade teachers to report to school, as well as teachers in our cluster. that fail to report to school tomorrow will have their access to Google Suites cut off at the end of the business day.
The person today on the live line, CTU, is Miss Stacey Davis Gates. Now, y'all know, when y'all see Stacey, she finna come with the firecracker. She finna get it popping. Stacey, welcome back to the Maze Jackson Show.
The under-resourcing and the deprioritization of schools that Black children go to across this country, that is naked right now. Everyone sees the impact of that. So when we say we want to reopen and return to schools, we don't want to return to schools in the same way we left them, because what we left were schools that didn't have enough. There are only 4 school libraries on the west side of Chicago right now. 4 school libraries on the west side of Chicago. We are still fighting to get school nurses into every school before the end of our contract, as well as social workers. So this whole concept that you can return people to a building that do not have the resources and supports that are necessary before the pandemic, and certainly right now, well, we beg to challenge that. And by challenging it means that we have to pump resources into the system. And here's the point. We want to teach. Bottom line, we want to return to our classrooms. And it should not be that we're choosing our health to return to the classroom. It should not be that we're choosing to move out of our homes. Look, I have members right now who are moving out of their homes because their mothers or their fathers live with them and they have comorbidities, or their partners have comorbidities. This false choice that we cannot figure this out on a phase-in schedule where we front vaccines. Look, we live in a city where the mayor of Chicago is in charge of everything: public health, public transportation, public schools, economic development, everything. So if it is a priority to reopen schools, then it is also a priority to put forth the resources to do it safely.
WIFTDPM.
You proved me wrong. This ain't a regular love, babe. It's that waking out your sleep with me massaging your feet, babe. It's that anything you want, I'm only here to please you. Until I met you, and I don't know if it's real or is it just a phase I go through, but I feel that it's true. We don't need no labels, babe. What we got is something different. We don't need no labels, babe. Lady, we don't need no labels to show that what we have is something special. For sure, for sure. I don't feel it's a one night stand. No. It's that look you in your eyes, make love in paradise. A one life stand. It's that sweep you off your feet, give you everything you need. That's what I'm feeling. It's that don't pick up the phone, cause we wanna be alone. And I never thought I'd feel this way, then you came along and proved me wrong. Oh no, I never had an interest in love until I met you. And I don't know if it's real, or is it just a phase I go through, but I feel that it's true. We don't need no labels, babe. What we got is something different. We don't need no labels, babe. Lady, we don't need no labels to show that what we have is something special. For sure. Since you came in my life, I see so clear now.
WIFTDPM.
Baby, let me steal I gotta steal. Don't you wanna steal? I've got to see you somehow. Not tomorrow.
What is happening, family? We are back. We are live from inside the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. My name is Herb Howard, my esteemed co-host, the one and only Toussaint Werner in the production studio behind the glass doing all of the hard work. Miss Esco, Sonia Escobar, you good in there, love? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You jamming too. That no label. Count my money, party with me.
It's my talent.
Count my green, get in between.
Right. So let me tell you how nosy my mom is, right? She said she texted
That's why
me.
I work Mondays.
For what?
For Mama Howard.
No, I love her. She the bomb. And she just saved me some money. Right? She texts me and she says, you didn't take your change back. You put it all back in the jar. You said you didn't take, because I took a 20 out of my pocket to make change for my cursing. She said you didn't give yourself no change. You put it all back in the jar. And she's absolutely right. I still don't have any singles in my pocket. She's 100% correct. But just the fact that she was paying attention to me. Dude,
Mama is the pocket watcher.
you know what I'm saying?
Man,
That's
Mama,
an innate
you
skill
messing up
of
my
women.
count.
Golly.
That ain't about your mama. All women know about that.
Heck, you know. I appreciate you, Mama. I get my change out there. That was funny. That was funny to me. Anyhow, man. If y'all just tuned in, this is I Said What I Said. Each and every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m., we are right here having a conversation about blackness. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest, and we appreciate y'all for being a part of that conversation. Y'all's input is valued. It is appreciated. We love y'all for being here. We thank y'all so much for y'all input. It always adds to the discussion and pushes the ball just a little bit further down the road for us all. So thank y'all so much for being here, whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, or you coming back and check out the show a little later after it airs live. We appreciate each and every one of you all.
Real quick, since we talking about mamas, shout out to my boy Victor Wade, Victor Love.
Yeah.
Vic just morning dropped me off this hoodie.
Oh, that's fire.
Let me see.
It says Mama's Boy. But
I was checking out. I thought
Wait,
it was like
look at the name.
more important than that, it has my mother's name inside the little hash mark.
And your birth year.
And my birth year.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's fire.
76.
Yeah. So salute to Vic and the Mama's Boy. I guess brand he tried to push or something. I don't know.
That's raw. That's fire. I like it a lot. I gotta hit Vic. I'll buy one of those. That's fire. If he make me one like that.
Yeah, he making them.
That's fire.
So shout out to Vic and the Mama's Boy brand.
Indeed.
And I'm not necessarily a Mama's Boy, but I like the hoodie.
I am. I ain't gonna hold you. I am definitely a mama's boy. 100%. But that's because being a daddy's boy wasn't an option for me.
Being a mama's boy wasn't an option for me.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder what it's like to have a dad.
Right. Hey, what do DJ say all the time? DJ say, hey, my daddy on his way back. He just went to the store, man.
Went to the store.
30 years ago, he went to the store and ain't came
right
back
now.
yet. My daddy just went to the store 30 years ago. He came back yet, man. That's funny. But that's the reality. But I do like the hoodie.
But yeah, if you're interested in getting the Mama's Boy hoodie, I'm sure I can help you out. You know what I mean? I'm sure Vic can have them on deck. But I just thought it was a cool little idea the way he put my mom's name in it. You know what
Super
I mean?
cute. I want some for my brothers.
No, that is definitely fire. I like the concept.
They come in 4X, 5X.
Who wear a 4X and a 5X?
My little.
I thought you were talking about you because you be getting on my nerve because you sometimes
I'm still waiting. I said what I said.
I be listening to you. I be listening to you be popping off mostly in BOD because y'all the ones getting to those vanity conversations. And you always acting like you is just the largest Marge walking around here. I don't know what kind of like mirror you like. Don's more like, girl, you ain't fat. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
oh, whatever. She's a perfect human. She's supposed to say that. Pretty people say that. Oh no.
Millie. She had me cracking up today.
Yeah,
hey,
today was fun.
And the penis whisperer was on the show today.
Yeah, I saw some of it. I didn't watch too long. I had to take Bella out to do some stuff.
Yeah, I was checking out. I always got to mess with the penis whisperer for a little while. But anyhow, what was we talking about before the break? I forgot. You don't remember?
the rules of society.
Oh.
The lack thereof.
Right. Ain't none.
Ain't none.
Because there's no team. There are no rules when there is no team. Right?
There's no value, period, though. Right? How can you get a team if you don't have any internal value, though, right? Like, so, even when you think about team, right? You always talking about LeBron on the show the other day. And it kind of created the dynamic between you, Gene, and T.
Yeah.
Right? You or T or somebody, I don't know which one of y'all, stated that LeBron was kind of the anchor of the NBA, right? So all the NBA players today say, well, you know, whatever LeBron do, I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's
Then
what
if
said.
whatever LeBron going to do, you going to do?
They say whatever the big dog do, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then you ain't personally anchored into nothing. Whatever LeBron say is going to be your gospel. Now, from a man perspective, that's nearly impossible. Right? But what is LeBron anchored into? And I think LeBron is kind of at the top of the food chain, but he's also one of those fledgling kind of dudes. Whatever makes sense in the moment, I'm rocking this way. And that's usually in reference to not hurting my capital. Right? Now, if everybody else under him is following his lead and making decisions based off the decision he makes, which is only about protecting his capital, then how does that help you protect your capital? How does that help you protect your value asset? What is your value asset? Has you ever took the time to think about that?
No.
So team don't matter if you ain't got there personally. Like, what matters to me? How could I care about what matters to the people around me if I don't know what matters to me?
Nah. Again, like you say, you're not anchored in nothing. There are no roots that are grounding you to a specific thing. And so when you're grounded to the same root, like you can do your own thing, right? But we all rooted in the same place, like any tree, right? Some branches going that way, some branches going that way. But the root is the same. We coming from the same place with the same purpose. And that's what keeps you grounded. But when that's not your story, then that's not how you're gonna move. And so yeah, it matters just how LeBron is saying it, because he's the big one, right? And so how he moving? I ain't gonna move unless he moving that way. Why not? You know what I'm saying? But when you're aligning yourself to that, that is what you're going to be on. And so he comes with symbolism and say, okay, we'll take a day off from playing ball. Nah, like don't play until things are proper. But
we go back to the little colloquialisms that your mama tell you when you were shorty. If your friends jump off the window, you gonna jump off the window?
Yeah, they're gonna jump. Jump.
We really are those friends at this point. We all jump out the window, right? And there's no solutions in not having any opinions and ideas.
Yeah.
Right? So we can be swayed either way, which brings us back to the original conversation. If I can wield some level of opportunity for me and my own, why shouldn't I? Like, that's a disgusting thought to have from the polarity to operate from, but it's the reality. It's like, man, nothing matters.
Nothing matters. It ain't nothing for it to matter to. You got to build the team first. We saw them two teams go out there yesterday and play for the Super Bowl. But you got to build that team first. So every offseason, every team changes. Ain't no team going to be the same next year as it was this year. Not the Super Bowl champion and not the worst team in the league. Every team is going to have turnover on their roster. They're going to spend the offseason building that team. And then that team's going to come together over the course of mini camp and training camp and preseason to set their collective agenda for what they're trying to get done once the season kicks off. And that's all you saw them doing yesterday. All them different dudes coming from all these different places, but they all pushing in the same way because they came together, understood this is my team, right? They had to sign the contract. I am on the Buccaneers team, right? And all of these dudes are my teammates, and we all trying to get the same thing done. And they got it. But you got to have the team first. You got to get people signed up to play on the same team first. And if you don't get that,
where our team identity shaped? Like, I'm not a football fan like you, right? When we look at the NBA, for example, right? Celtics, Lakers, Bulls.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3-story franchises in real life.
Yeah.
Right? Golden State might be number 4 at this point because I think they got what?
Because lately they didn't ripped off like 2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Bulls, there are no story franchises.
Philly was the winning time when Walt was on that team. But whatever. I'm with you.
In that vein, you got to ask yourself, And I don't know I don't know which one is which, right? I don't know if those organizations created the culture or if the leaders of those teams created the culture, created the identity. Right?
It's the leaders of the team. We just saw it again last night. There's been this 20-year debate about, is it Bill Belichick or is it Tom Brady? What makes that New England Patriots machine run? Well, Tom Brady left. The Patriots didn't go to the playoffs. They ain't missed the playoffs since he's been there. You know what I'm saying? He don't play. They missed the playoffs. Bill Belichick can't even take that team to the playoffs. Tom Brady goes to a whole nother team and just wins another Super Bowl. That's it. With dudes who wasn't even on that team last year. Everybody who scored for them yesterday, Leonard Fournette scored a touchdown, was not on that team last year. Gronkowski scored 2 touchdowns, wasn't on that team last year. And AB scored a touchdown. Antonio Brown scored a touchdown yesterday. Wasn't on that team last year. All of this orchestrated by Tom Brady, who was not on that team last year. Like, it's players. You can be a good coach, and Bill Belichick is a damn good coach. Not saying that he isn't. But good coaches ain't enough to win the game. You ain't never seen a good coach with bad players. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good coach ain't won with bad players. That's not a real thing. Phil Jackson is who he is, in large part because he coached Mike, Scotty, Kobe, and Shaq. That's just the reality of the situation. Anybody else would have won too. Again, that's not to take away what Phil Jackson brought, but anybody else would have won those championships. Eric Spoelstra won back-to-back down there with Miami. You had LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh. You had 3 of the best 10 players in the league. Nobody even knew who Eric Spoelstra was. Gino said he was the video coordinator for the Heat 2 years before he was the head coach. Don't matter.
So which brings me back to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, where are the best and brightest of black masculinity? Where's the best and brightest of black men? Because if it ain't LeBron, right? If it ain't Barack, if it ain't those people, then where are they?
You skipped a step, my brother. The team first has to decide on the common goal, right? And how we going to go about getting there. Our team has not put black masculinity as the thing that we need to be triumphant in this fight, right? That is not what we've identified as the thing that we need to build upon to be triumphant in this fight.
Then what does victory look like?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that it hasn't been put in that space. And so if it hasn't been put in that space to then identify, okay, well, where are these people at? They could be wherever. But until that is deemed as our best way to achieve this victory, don't matter if they there or not. Nobody's following that, right? I'd rather follow the man with titties than to be on Minister Farrakhan. You know, like, we got to identify this thing first. And so that's what I'm talking about. Teams they spend the entire offseason, they spend that entire preseason training camp, all of that mini camp, they spend that identifying what is our best way to be successful based off the team that we have. What is our best way to be successful? And so are we going to be a running team? Are we going to be a passing team? Basketball, are we going to be a shooting team? Are we going to be a transition team?
But success is rooted in the end goal of championship. Right? I'm asking, what does the victory look like for us? What's the end goal? Mm-hmm. What does sovereignty look like? Mm-hmm. What does the end of oppression look like? What does that mean? Right? Is it just an idea, or is it something tangible? Is it something that you can achieve alone, or is it something that you need a group?
Is that even our collective goal when you talk about liberation and sovereignty?
But shit, if we can't even identify what it is, then we know it can't be the collective goal. You understand? Mm-hmm. So, again, like I said, I kind of got cheated. Mm-hmm. And I was being facetious.
I got you.
I was being facetious because I value the shit out of my upbringing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was forced to be.
But I was forced to be this kind of guy. I didn't have any other option.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I value it. But none of them men had nothing. Now, even that is context. Because the men had also had everything. Right? The men had gumption. The men had, at least from my vantage point, control over their own destinies. Mm-hmm. Those men stood up like men. Those men took care of their families, right? Those men were there. You know what I mean? Every one of those families that's attached to that village was somewhat intact in reference to what was going on in my community at the time. You know what I mean? So those men, and again, what I say, I didn't even recognize I was poor till I was an adult. So those men also had received and gave an abundance of love. Now for me, the totality of this journey is just about love. Giving and receiving, that's it. Right? And I got a bunch of it. And I gave a bunch of it, and I give a bunch of it, which is why Beach responds to me the way he responds to me. Beach look at me like I'm one of his children. You know what I mean? And it's not just Beach. I got a whole village of people like that. You know, and I don't just want to be on men either. There's women in that village too.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that village has extreme value for me. You know what I mean? So, and in striving for what I want my life to mimic is that village. What I strive for my children's experience to mimic is that village, right? So that village was never accompanied by no large sums of capital.
Right.
It just wasn't.
But it was happy and productive.
But it was healthy.
Healthy.
It was healthy.
Healthy.
From my perspective. You know what I mean? What does healthy look like? Because what I strive for does not seem to be the standard. Because if it was, it wouldn't take nothing for us to do that but to open up to love.
What'd you say about 20, 30 minutes ago? You said white people don't have to have these types of conversations. They don't have to take on those types of considerations about how they behave and how that impacts and reflects upon the greater whole. That's not something they have to consider. So if we are aspiring to be like them, ultimately what we're aspiring to is moving further away from actually where we need to be going. When we talk about having these shared values and shared understandings, right? We are trying to get to a space to where everybody's individually trying to pursue this path to where I no longer have to worry about these things. I don't want to think about this as a collective. I want to be free like white people are free. They don't have to think about what's the greater good for white people, right? That's not something that they have to deal with, right? We can't, like, we still feel stuff like, like black guilt and stuff like that. Like you go out somewhere and you see like black people behaving a certain kind of way in certain kind of spaces. We're like, oh, why they acting like that here? Like, oh, you're making us look bad. White people they don't care about what other white people are doing to make us look bad. They get to move freely like that. And so if we're trying to be like them, we're really moving away from a space that says, I want to move for the greater good of the collective. We really want to move like white folks, which doesn't require you to think about the collective. We trying to move on some individual stuff. And for whatever reason, we don't notice that we don't have that luxury. Just don't.
Do we notice that that's a dead-end street?
No. People running full steam ahead on it.
So I'm being sincere in asking, right?
I know.
So I was having a conversation this weekend about level 1 schooling for children.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a good friend of mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Son's in a level 1 school. Son's a premier ball player.
Okay.
Son is doing XYZ. And we were just having a blanketed conversation. Mm-hmm. And I said, man, why can't every school in Chicago be level 1? Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, no, that wouldn't make no sense. And I didn't understand why he would say that wouldn't make no sense.
What did he say?
And he was like, because the kids couldn't adapt because they don't have the supports. That was his argument. That it has to be some levels below level 1 to accommodate the kids who don't raise up to the level 1 standard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I think that's a myth. Mm-hmm. I think kids can achieve at whatever level
you require of them.
Yeah, that's required of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think the mindset behind it is even more interesting than the conversation. Why do we think there has to be a bottom? And for me, I think that's the construct of capitalism. It forces this idea that you have to be above, right? It forces this idea. But here's the oxymoronic part of it for me in regards to black people. Level 1 or not, at the top of the food chain, at the top of the success ladder in America, you're not invited to the party. And if you was invited to the party, then more than 2% of us will work in the private sector. But we don't. So 98% of us that do work in governmental jobs. You're not invited to the upper echelon party. It's like the Kevin Samuels dude who has the conversation about men and women of value. And their value is only placed based in the level of money they got. Mm-hmm. Why does that qualify them as being valuable?
Mm-hmm.
It's a oxymoronic viewpoint. Like we are thriving and striving for something for an invitation to a party that we're not invited to, that we've never been invited to.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we keep begging for access instead of building our own standard? And even if it was building our own standard, why would it have to be a building? Because when we talk about building our own standard, it's only a mimicking of their standard.
It's not a completely different
It's
construct.
not a different standard. It's just like, let's do this over here.
Right. Right.
Let's do what they doing over there, over here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'll say that's whack.
It's insane.
Yeah, I say that is completely trash. I think that is a trash model, right? I think that we have to be on some do it for self stuff. So when we talk about all the stuff that you can do for yourself in the community, it's the same stuff we talk about all the time: education, agriculture, supporting black businesses. Like it's the same stuff. We got to just do it in a different method. But that's not what we're on, partially because of sincere ignorance and partially because of our own aspirations about what we're trying to get to. And if we don't change either the ignorance or the aspiration, there's no hope of changing the outcome. And that's why I'm at a space now where it's like, nah, I'm not on this idea of like trying to get more people to come join this team. Like that's a waste of my time. Who's already on this team? Let's get busy. Like let's get busy. And anybody who want to hop on, fine, you can come hop on. But we rolling. Like we already rolling. If you want to come help, cool, come help. Tom Brady went over there. We rolling. We building this team. Hey, Gronk, you want to come back out of retirement, come help? You can come help. Antonio Brown, don't nobody else want you? You want to come help? You can come help.
See, here's what the homosexual community's done, though, right? Which is valid. They've put tangible markers on what success looks like. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to get married.
Yes.
That's tangible.
Yes.
Right? We want acceptance in these areas. That's tangible. We want the freedom to walk around with our titties out or to have titties and be men and that be acceptable.
Or choose what bathroom I get to go to.
Or choose what bathroom those are all tangible,
mm-hmm.
right? So when we go back to that interview that Mays had with that dude XYZ amount of years ago on VON, when he asked the man, what do you deem as being more valuable or how do you identify? Do you identify as homosexual or do you identify as black first? He opened and said, I identify as homosexual first.
Yeah.
Right?
There's value there, fam.
He finds value there.
Right.
Right? But what he's missing is the undercurrent, right? The undergirding of whiteness.
Mm.
We're going to leverage you to get our goals met. Same thing with feminism. We're going to use sisters to get our goals met. But when we go home, we're voting for Trump.
Keep it a buck.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the white homosexual. Mm-hmm. We're going to use you to get the bathroom, to get our marriage right. But when we go home, we're voting for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling you nigga and shine. And for your Hispanic spick and wetback. Mm-hmm. Please believe it, you are not at the party. When them gay dudes was in my backyard, mm-hmm. it was about 250 of them. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a white person in sight. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a Hispanic in sight. Mm-hmm. That's y'all party.
You know what else wasn't there? A straight person? A heterosexual person?
I can't say that. I don't know.
No. I'm willing to bet it.
Okay, all right. I didn't go in. I just
two in there swinging his shirt around.
I would shoot everybody.
What I'm saying is these are groups of people who just who line up right with their own squad and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this conversation about inclusion, right? But that's not a real thing, right? There's this gay high school in New York. They opened up probably 10, 15 years ago now, bro. And I've ever since I first read about this high school, I was like, that seems different. That seems counterintuitive to what y'all claim y'all want, right? When you talk about, we just want to be included, want to just be treated like everybody else and not be, okay. Where's the heterosexual high school? Like that don't exist, right? So it don't sound like you want to be like everybody else. Where's the heterosexual flag? Where's the straight parade? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the heterosexual rainbow? Right? These are all things that we're trying to distinguish ourselves from. Like, and that's
I hate that they confiscated the rainbow. I used to have this dope rainbow kind of belt. I can't never wear that again in my life.
Rock it.
That I ordered
I
online.
can't never rock it again.
Rock it.
No, I'm straight.
Literally,
I'm straight. Literally.
Literally and figuratively, I'm straight.
I can't never wear this again.
That is funny. That made me laugh.
I had
real
some
hard.
kicks that it rocked perfectly with. I was like, I could never wear this again.
See me?
That's how rumors get started.
Me, I don't care.
That's fine. I care.
I can't imagine what this rainbow belt. I can't imagine that this was fire, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wouldn't care. I go to Pride Parade probably every year because it's fun.
So fun. You get to drink in the street.
Yeah, it's day drinking in the street. Sign me up for that.
Doing drugs?
Summertime?
Yeah.
Day drinking in the street? Sign me up,
The
fam.
police don't tell you nothing?
And it's mostly, let me stop.
Yeah, stop on your head.
Whatever, bro.
Okay. I have no opinions in this matter. This is the views of Herb Howard.
Sign me up for. She said, "Where your belt at, man?"
It's in the trash. Now
It's in the trash.
Dead at that one. That's dead.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a sensitive rainbow, but it just
It wasn't a sensitive rainbow. Wow.
It wasn't.
Fragile.
Like
It was a thick skin rainbow.
Sensitive too, G.
It was a thick
And
skin
be
rainbow.
clear, right? I'm an artist. I have an appreciation for color.
hard
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
This was not My Little Pony rainbow. It was just a
hard.
representation of fly colors that blended together
Hey, I can dig it,
in
man.
unison.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? But even with that, I'm like, yeah, can't do this no more.
do the Lucky Charm box look good to you?
I don't know. I can't reference the Lucky Charms box.
They logo is just like all the little marshmallow color rainbow thingies.
Hey, be clear, don't nothing look. Titties on a man looks gay to me. We can start there.
We can
right?
agree with that.
But in regards to the rest of the symbolism that they just take over,
Right.
it don't represent that to me.
Nah, me
Right?
neither.
So,
But you just feel like you want to attract the wrong kind of attention if you wear it.
Context is so important, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just said I'm an artist and I'm making light of this, but I am an artist and I do value color.
Mm-hmm.
I could count on. I can't even keep counting of how many clients I've done projects for. Maze, right? I'll do a project for somebody and they be like, man, why them colors though, G? Them colors is they didn't fully made certain colors homosexual colors. How is that possible?
Because they stand on it, G. Like, they stand on it. Candace, what's the real reason I'm at the parade? That's funny. It's a good time.
It's just a good time.
It's a day party in the streets where you drink
The
and people
police
titties
leave
be
you
out.
alone.
Sometimes they be dudes. But
What you say now?
I said it's a day party in the streets where you can drink and people titties be out. Sometimes they be dudes.
Bless your heart.
It's like Mardi Gras or something like that. It's a big party. I like it. It's always a
Hey,
good
go
time.
ahead, go. What
You want to go this year?
I'm cool.
You can wear your belt.
No, I can't. This is
Definitely not there, huh?
It's not happening. I have no interest in going.
Bring your
And
neighbors.
be clear, right? I'm not even homophobic. I'm not. I don't care what you do.
It's just fun to make fun of you.
Right? It's just
Pink shirts is gay, Kim. Kim say
I
that
got
pink
all
shirts is gay.
kinds of pink shirts.
I
Great in
disagree.
pink.
Yeah,
I'm flying pink.
I got me a few pink
Right.
pieces.
I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, I got me a few pink. And remember one day, this is when we were still doing Is Wiz in Your Kitchen. One day we both happened to wear a pink shirt.
And it was some
Was it
dude on
Wednesday?
there calling us gay the whole time we was recording.
It was some
On
dude.
Wednesdays, we wear pink.
It was some dude in there going in on us. G.
Like, are y'all a couple?
Going in. I mean, for the however long we was doing the show at the time, that amount of time he went in the comments, like in the comments, like.
You should have threw your belt buckle at him.
Oh my God, he was though. I
was.
didn't remember that. But
He was.
again, though, right? So we all are conscious of these concepts, but then publicly we act like they ain't happening. I don't understand.
Nope, because it's about what you can do and can't do, right? It's stop gendering colors. Yeah, that's for real.
Men look good in pink.
Yeah, if you can swag it, you can swag it. You know what I'm saying? If you could pull it off, you can pull it off.
But you can't. You might could get away with pink.
Yeah.
You cannot do rainbow.
You can't do the rainbow?
Rainbow is theirs now.
I'm popping some rainbow off in here one day.
Bless your heart.
I'm popping. I don't have none right now. I'm gonna go find some just to pop it off.
What do you think, G?
Yeah.
I'm straight.
It's gonna be fire. Stop saying I'm straight after that. Okay.
I'm straight. Straight, G. I'm straight.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Can't get away with it no more.
That is funny.
They've confiscated this concept.
That is absolutely hilarious.
But think about that though. They're also confiscating the concept of masculinity.
Always comes back to titties for that one. I got a name. Don't call me that one.
Right? And I appreciate titties too. I just not on Larry.
On Larry, I appreciate titties.
On Larry, I don't appreciate titties.
On Larry, I appreciate.
I don't. I can't. It ain't in me.
Whoo, Jesus Christ! Why y'all act like this, man?
It ain't in me, man. We was talking the other day. Well, we talk often.
What ain't in you?
We talk often about Relationship Friday. On Relationship Fridays, we had these conversations, and I said,
"You gonna skip?"
I didn't even see. See, that didn't even register to me. That ain't even register to me. You know what I mean? But think about this though. In context, in Relationship Fridays, where we make the argument that you don't even have your own relationship values. We say that your relationship values are shaped by the social norms. We had that argument all the time. What shapes your relationship values? Right?
Yeah.
It's the social norms, right? And if that's the case, the more we normalize black homosexuality or black transgenderism or black gayness, or because that becomes the standard, why do we think it won't inform the rest of our social decisions? Why do we believe that, right? And I make the argument all the time about, well, it's gay white people on TV too. Absolutely. In suits and ties.
Right.
They still men.
Right. Right.
Because the homosexuality part becomes a conscious choice about the kind of sex they having.
Right.
But they showing up in a masculine polarity.
Yeah.
You see the homosexuals on black TV shows, they got purses, high heels, tights. They swinging their hair. They got different kind of
hella
tones.
makeup on and all this extra. Yeah.
It's a different thing.
It's a different
You're
thing.
no longer a man. It's not a sexual choice no more.
Yeah. I was like 2 weeks ago years old when I found out that Will and Grace was like a gay show or something like that. I had never seen the show, but I also never heard anybody say that it had something to do with like this gay relationship or whatever. I had never known anything about it because that's not how they are presented. If it was Deontay and whoever, it would have been like, oh, they super. That matter of fact, they wouldn't even have had regular men names. You know what I'm saying? It would have been some whole other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know, man. It's different. It's different.
I get it. Salim says it's just a socio-cultural fallout of economic imperatives. Culture follows the production modes. Check the most patriarchal societies. I'm sure that's what it says.
Check the most patriarchal cultures are agrarian. The least are the cyber, artificial intelligence robots of the Scandies, the matriarchal goddess cultures of Kemet, for example, were horticultural, maritime, pastoral, as well as agrarian. I got to read his comments slow.
Took the words out of my mouth.
That was exactly how you would have said it, Sco?
Indeed.
Indeed. Indubitably.
They've been messing with me about this doggone whatever.
I don't necessarily disagree with Salim, right? But therein lies the context of
I gotta reread it to know if I agree or not.
But see, there's context has to be added though. Cause there's American culture and then there's subcultures in America. It ain't the same overarching culture. Right? So when you start thinking about the context of the cyber AI robotic kind of culture that he talks about that becomes matriarchal, well, that ain't our community. We don't live in the digital space. We don't make our money in the digital space. That space doesn't even dictate our culture like that. And there's a direct need for a patriarchal or masculine energy in our society, specifically in our culture. There's a reason why our children are, or our young boys. Matter of fact, you said in the comments a little bit earlier, Salim, you said the reference point of black young boys out here murdering each other at the rate they are is about this. I don't know how you worded it, but something about the level of toxic masculinity that's out here. That is toxic. Because they haven't had a representation of masculinity in I don't know how long. And I don't know how long. And if we keep not showing up to our polarity, what happens?
Yeah.
Who becomes the dominant voice? It becomes the Lil Nas's and the shooters.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I literally had to reread the comment because I didn't even read it properly. Like I didn't put the emphasis in the right spaces. Pause. I didn't read it properly for myself to even fully understand it. But I understood it completely now.
Yeah. So I think we sucking at the nipple of America, and America's poisoning us.
No pun intended about the Lil Nas X picture.
That's pun intended.
I thought so.
Pun intended.
I thought so.
Right. Well, but we're excited about it. We're championing it. It's true. And Esco's got the cow sounds to match it.
At the teat.
What do they call that? The teat for the cow, right? We're sucking at the teat.
That's real. Salim says you're right. We're too damaged to resist the cultural pressure to demasculinize.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
We get pushed into oblivion if we go with the shift.
Oh yeah, you can't come with that. You can't do it, right? And you hear constantly big stories about this and that, and it's like it's not okay. So right now, Stephen A. Smith, and I didn't see what he said, so I'm not saying this as a quote, but from what I heard, he was saying that women should not compete in combat sports, right? So the women in UFC and the boxing and all that, and they shouldn't do that, right? And immediately, everything goes up. What? Who is he to say that women shouldn't do this and women can't do that and women can't do this? And I get it, right? But then you're also going to say that you need to protect women, right?
But here's the context.
And it's like, well, how am I a protector if I can't even tell her don't go fight? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
part of protection is prevention.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right. So I mean, you can't really have it both ways. Now, I used to love to watch Layla Ali fight. She used to beat the brakes off some of them women, right? So she was obviously talented enough to do it. And then what was that one? The white girl. She was like super famous from the UFC.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Until she got her face kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then she wasn't nothing but a meme of somebody getting their face kicked in.
Layla Ali is beautiful. One.
Fine.
She's also a very big woman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's like, what, 6'2", 6'3"?
She's a big woman.
Powerful
She's
woman.
a big woman.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You put Layla Ali in a ring with a man,
mm-hmm.
similar in her size and weight,
mm-hmm.
she's going to get her face broken.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
It's just the truth.
It just is. And he didn't get to have the training that she had.
But if they were equally trained, right?
She's going to die in the ring.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? So now as this slippery slope starts to slide,
mm-hmm.
and Joe Biden is making these executive orders to let transgender men participate in female sports,
mm-hmm.
this is what's going to happen. But it's a door that you opened up.
Right.
It's a door that we opened up through the lens of feminism. It's a door that we opened up by everything being masculine is toxic. It's a door that we opened up by accepting Lil Nas X double D breast.
Right.
It's a door that we keep opening wider and wider and wider.
Right.
And when it comes back to bite you in the butt, you don't have a recourse anymore because this is what you was championing on the other side.
Yeah.
See, when a woman aligns herself to something that the man does, which is a response to patriarchy, I'm not saying it's right,
mm-hmm.
but it's a response to patriarchy. So it's an achievement. I achieve what men achieve.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fallacy, shorty.
Right.
If you operated in your pureness, you would have way more power than me in the first place.
Mm. Like you said on the show a month or so ago.
It ain't a man alive that could deny a woman that's operating in her pure femininity.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say no. You lose. Showing up in the door, you lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All you got to do to recognize the truth in this is to have a daughter.
Mm. Mm.
Before she's affected by the ways of the world, as in a natural-born woman,
mm-hmm.
a man is powerless to desires and needs of his child,
mm-hmm.
his daughter specifically.
Right.
My son is a little, whatever.
Right. You talking about the feminine energy.
I'm talking about the feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're this distorted viewpoint that you've achieved something because you've mastered or deemed yourself to master some place in this patriarchal system. You've not achieved nothing. You've actually cheapened yourself
mm-hmm.
because the lie is so pervasive that you're fighting to fit into the lie instead of correct it. Right? But now when the lie turns on his back end,
right,
and now that boy child
mm-hmm.
who decides to be a woman one day
mm-hmm.
and wants to play your game is Joanna Man. The WNBA never exists anymore because all Joanna Mans is going to be better than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
And then even that becomes a problem. You had the sister Brittany Griner came out of Baylor, I don't know, half dozen years ago, something like that. Tall, could dunk, but then you interview her after the game and she's like, yeah, I had 33 points. And then everybody was like, yo, what? Why is she? Wait, what's going on here? And then like, oh, she shouldn't be able to play with them. What you mean? She a woman?
Brittany Griner was a...
No, she wasn't. I'm saying she was born a woman is what I'm saying.
Right, yeah,
but I'm saying that even just the bass in her voice and her size and her stature and how she was out there dominating the court, people were offended. Like, oh, why she get the... What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? But then on the other hand, so let somebody tell y'all can't play with the men.
Yeah, but Brittany Griner is not decisively dominating. Let's think of a Q Richardson.
No.
Right? And that's not even a big guy in stature in relationship to the NBA.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Brittany Griner's going to look like a child
There's
next
just certain
to
things that can't happen.
Q Richardson when it becomes Kiana Richardson.
Right.
It's going to be a whole different conversation.
Right.
And you start talking, so in regards to Stephen A. Smith's conversation.
Yeah, there's just certain things there are certain things that just can't happen. Dwight Howard, right? It's a huge dude. Like, he throw his elbows around all the time right into dude's chest. You can't hit her like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's gonna die out here. Like, it's just not a real thing. All the respect in the world for women. Like, I ain't fighting no woman, right? But I would generously say maybe 5% of women on this planet could whoop my ass. Like, that's just not a real thing. Why we want to play like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what? Sko, you disagree?
What?
Is that too low?
You was at about 35, 40%. You was at 35, 40%.
What's wrong?
Tell the truth.
What's wrong with y'all, man? Y'all crazy. Man. Like, I'm just saying, like, like for real, like, it's just like, but you know, but then you can't say that, right? Like, why not? Like, what? Stop me when I lie, right? Like, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like you, if I'm wrong, like, but I'm not. It ain't even. That's not the conversation I'm trying to have, right? So I'm gonna stop it at that. But it's just like, why do we do certain things? It doesn't really make sense, and it certainly doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve anybody. Not the collective. But again, there is no collective. Miss Doubtfire.
I don't remember this. I don't remember the name of the band, but
Aerosmith.
Oh, see, I don't know that. All I know is that they played it in. They played it in Miss Doubtfire.
When the only rap music you heard was Rap City, or MTV Rap
Right,
or whatever.
right.
Other than that, it was this.
It was this.
Understand that?
Do me like a
Oh, Miss Doubtfire. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, Brittany Griner can certainly hoop, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, she can.
Yeah, we was talking about Simone Augustus and how cold she
I'm never
was.
saying that women can't hoop or can't do. Or can't.
Nah.
But there are some things that when you shift be clear, there's money attached. First of all, let's say the average WNBA player makes what, 70, 80 grand, I think it is.
After their new contract raise. Right.
So what's the average now, like 50?
That's what it was. It was less than that before, but now it's probably around like the 60, 70s.
60, 70 grand, right? For what, 50, maybe 30 game season, right? So 30 games a season, that's what, 3 months?
They play more than that, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, we know that dual income earning black households don't bust 50 grand.
Right.
So a man decides he identifies as a woman, he can make his yearly income and his partner's yearly income in 3 months. All I got to do is hoop. Go to any gym in Jackson Park and see how many of them can rock with the WNBA. And all I got to do is say I identify as a girl. The game changes.
You think they're going to let them play? You think they will let
I think whenever you attach a dollar amount to anything, it's never going to be based in purity again. The rules are always going to be shifted because greed will control the outcome. It just is what it is. So if I know that my life is on the line economically, right, and be clear, just like I said about Kamala Harris, when you compare her to kids who want to go to the NBA, right? My son wants to play ball at some level. My son's 15 years old. I had to have a conversation with him the other day because in his mind, the NBA is out of reach. That's not plausible. So his goal, he's now lowering his standard for the goal. Right now, whether to say I believe that or not, I still want you to achieve or strive for greatness.
It's a conversation they was having on the soil. The Biggs was having that conversation kind of earlier.
Right? But he's 15. Been hooping probably since 5, 6. Right? Kamala Harris don't just decide to run for president. She probably wanted to be the president 5, 6.
Right.
Started creating a plan of action to become the president, one way or the other. Right? So this is a conversation I'm having with a 15-year-old boy now about his future. And he's thinking about it in context and say, well, I might not be this good, but I might be this good, so let me create a pathway to go this route. Right? What would stop anybody else from having that conversation? It's just creating a new pathway to reach your goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just basketball. It ain't got to be basketball, though. Right? If I hire a minority black woman transsexual, how many boxes do I get to check?
I'm checking a lot of boxes now.
How much more opportunity will that person get than a regular black man?
Yeah. I'm checking a lot of boxes now.
I check a whole lot of boxes.
It's like I said, you look around most of these companies who are progressive enough to even have a diversity and inclusion department. It's headed up by some black woman, right? Not to say that she is not qualified, but it's to also say that she checks a lot of boxes for them and serves that purpose, right? And
Shannon said, I got a daughter that popping off. What you popping off about? I ain't scared of your daughter. Tell us, talk to her. We more than willing to listen.
She might have been on your side. Nope. Nah, I mean, listen, it's about having the dialogues. It's about having those types of conversations. But I think that anytime you start to open these things up, it's Pandora's box. How do you close it, right? If we can have legislation that says, okay, this clearly grown man who woke up whatever morning and said, okay, now I'm a woman, can go into the women's bathroom, right? If we got that kind of legislation, then how do you then stop it at hooping in the WNBA? Like, where do we stop this thing at? If I can't say I don't want this boy at school going into the same bathroom as my daughter at school, how you gonna say he can't hoop in the WNBA? What we doing? Like, what?
Zero grade reliance. Zero grade reliance. They rules and my rules ain't the same rules. And my rules become the standard of our communities. Right? And hence, you start to build a team. But going back to the value of men operating in their proper polarity, until a man shows himself to be a man, we're going to keep following the illusion of manhood. Because we following the illusion now. Be clear about that.
I'm crystal on it.
Right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama is a relevant presence in our communities. Right? He becomes the standard. He becomes a standard. Right? But we like to do silly stuff like compare him to King. We like to do silly stuff like that. And we compare him to King because King was the most palatable of the era. You wouldn't dare compare him to Malcolm.
No, you wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't dare do that.
Right. But
in reality, you shouldn't dare compare him to King. Right. They ain't the same.
They weren't even playing for the same team.
They ain't the same.
Like one is the manager of the system that the other two are fighting against.
They're not the same. But we can see how just in that comparison, how distorted our understanding of even just 40, 50 years ago was. Yeah. Because our understanding of what and who we are is distorted.
Yeah.
So getting back to our proper polarity as men, someone, all of us, every one of us has to start enforcing a standard of rule. A standard rule of operation. It's just like a basketball team or a football team or
push back against everything that don't align with
this is what this business does. If you don't fit into the brand of who we are, go and find your people. Find your tribe. But this ain't it.
They ain't
so
here.
you can't be on 71st and Jeffrey, right? And waving the homosexual flag over the black flag because your resources is based in blackness because you live on 71st and Jeffrey. You don't live in Boys Town.
Right.
You're not getting them resources.
Right.
Right? That gay homosexual school or whatever you know, that's around our house?
Nah.
Then beat it.
Right.
If that's your fight, go be with them.
Right.
This ain't that.
Right.
This ain't that.
Right.
Then you can get your double D's, tattoo your face, wear your colorful hair. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you are not the representation of what we honor over here. It got to be some rules. Rules are important. They are, man. I know these young folks think this fluidity is everything. It ain't. In my opinion, it ain't. We ain't there yet.
No, I feel you. And I appreciate freedom of expression as much as anybody. But man, it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing, and it will remain so unless the team is clearly identified and the objective is agreed upon. That is what can bring everybody together. And so then you can be this kind of person. I remember watching the interview, I think, I don't remember whose show he was on, but Michael Jordan was on somebody's show, and he asked him, what happens when you outside and you run into Dennis Rodman? And he said, wait, what? I don't run into Dennis Rodman, fam. Like, me and Dennis Rodman ain't in the same place. Like, I'm not gonna run into Dennis Rodman. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Ever. We're not gonna be in the same wherever I am, Dennis don't want to be there, and I can guarantee you wherever he is, I don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? So no, I ain't gonna run into Dennis Rodman. But it don't matter, right? Because we have identified, we've agreed to be on the same team. We have a collective shared agenda. And so when we're doing that, we are rocking. And if we can get to that space while we identify our team and agree upon an objective, then cool. You want to go have homosexual sex? Cool. I'm going to go have homosexual sex? Cool. You know what I'm saying? And we can still be on the same team.
Esco, no matter what, I want you to take that part where he said he's going to have homosexual sex. We need that for a playback.
I didn't say that.
You said it. I don't care nothing about the analogy. Just
I have so many time markers of what I'm about to do.
I didn't even say that.
Said it.
I said if you want to go have homosexual sex, and I'll go have heterosexual sex.
You might have made a mistake, but we keep it either way.
I hate you. That is it. We're going to leave it right there, man. We will be back here tomorrow, same time, same place at 3 p.m. Y'all make sure y'all get up real early for the Ruthie Moore Show. Stick around for all of the dope programming tomorrow. The Book of Dawn, the green side of things. Did I miss somebody? Let's go.
I don't know. Apparently, I'm not on the morning show.
The Ruthie Moore Show?
The Ruthie Moore and Escobar Show.
Right. Right. I left out. She gonna come in. And make sure y'all also hang out with Tennille tomorrow. Tomorrow is Minding Our Own Black Business with Tennille, and then we'll be back here tomorrow. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, y'all be good to each other. For Sonia Escobar and for Toussaint Werner, my name is Herb Howard. We catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.